Okay, so no green, not a great hand, but Poet's Quill can get Environmental Sciences, which can get Forest, so of course we're not going to mull this. Also, Poet's Quill is really good at dragging out games. If we fall a little behind, slap that on the Amplimancer, gain some life, etc., etc. No decision, having not drawn a Forest here right by turn 2. We're definitely getting Environmental Sciences. Green is our main color. However, now that we drew the Forest, now we do have choices. So this turn I can play Mentor's Guidance for 1. We're not going to do that. I can play Amplimancer and strand the 1 mana. But then next turn I can play Environmental Sciences, and I can put Poet's Quill on the Amplimancer and attack with it. Or I can Environmental Sciences this turn, and then next turn I can play like Master Symmetrist, which is a bigger, better creature. So there's 2 lines to consider here. There's Amplimancer, and then next turn if we draw a Forest, great. If not, we go Environmental Sciences, equip Poet's Quill. Or there's Environmental Sciences, and the next turn we get to play Symmetrist. I think I just want to cast Environmental Sciences. We're on the play. I don't think I'm going to get run over. I already know which land I want to search for here. It's Forest, because it's a double green. And even if I drew a Forest, like, yeah, I'd search for a Swamp, but who cares? Like, I have Snakeskin Veil. And I just want to play bigger, better creatures. Like I said, we're not going to get run over. I don't really want a Poet's Quill on my Amplimancer. That's not, like, exciting. Okay, that changes things, though. I was going to play Master Symmetrist. I was going to play Master Symmetrist this turn. But now, I don't care about paying 3, but I don't want to let them make 1/1s every time they cast a spell. So, change of plans. Now I'm going to play the Amplimancer, and then Tendrils away the Witch. Because it's pay 3 life, it's not the ward, it's not mana, and every time they cast a spell, they would get a free 1/1. We can't allow that. But I don't care at all about the 3 life. I gain 2 right back from the Tendrils. Not that that matters, but the point is I'm at 19. So now, if I equip, I have a nice attack. If they have something, I have Snakeskin Veil. But it's better to just put a 4/4 in play. So I think... But then they might kill it. So what is the removal? Mage Hunter's Onslaught is the common, and that's a sorcery, so they can't do that. Burying Books they can only do if I attack. I mean, there are uncommons and rares, but I think as far as the commons go, I think we dodge removal pretty well if I just cast Symmetrist here. So I think we do that. We obviously don't know what they have. It won't be shocking at all when they end up countering or killing this with an uncommon or something. But... we're not missing much by not attacking this turn, and we're playing around Burying Books, and like I said, the commons don't really interact with the Symmetrist here at instant speed. If they kill it on their turn, so be it. At least it takes up their next turn. We have plenty to do. Okay, so we haven't drawn a land, but we have Emergent Sequence. Could just Poet's Quill the Symmetrist and attack. If they double block, I Snakeskin Veil for the Super Blowout. If they take it, then I just sequence and pass back to them. This seems almost automatic. I'm not, like, super worried about losing my creature or anything like that. If they go for the double block, I get the Super Blowout. Going to a 6/6 means I kill both their creatures and mine lives. If they take it, I get my 5 points of lifelink, nice hit. And if they have removal, I don't really care about the Symmetrist. Like, I can always pump up something else later. So, this turn is pretty clear. Even though we have a lot of options, sequence is ramp. We prefer to do that first. Unless they give us, the Super Blowout with the double block, in which case killing both their creatures and having mine live and gaining 6 takes precedence over ramping. Okay, now we just attack, see what they do. And then, assuming they kill one of our creatures or something post-combat, I'll be emergent sequencing. If they don't kill either, I might play Mentor's Guidance, because I'm kind of afraid of, like, the 8-mana Black Sweeper or something like that. But I assume that they would bury in books. Although now I don't really want to emergent sequence, so now I'm not sure what to do. I don't want to shuffle away the Symmetrist. So I guess I Mentor's Guidance then. Can scry this land to the bottom or draw it if it's a card, and then draw the other card, because the Amplimancer is a Druid, so this is still triggering. And I can't sequence, or I shuffle away Master Symmetrist. But we can scry that Swamp to the bottom, draw Symmetrist, and then scry Forest to the bottom, and draw this top card. So, not a great turn for us, because they put our big creature back, and we didn't advance our board. But, in terms of resources, I mean, Burying Books doesn't kill it. We're just going to recast it. And, I mean, I didn't want to give up Master Symmetrist by casting Emergent Sequence. Also, with the Poet's Quote and 23 and counting, I think it's going to be a resource war. I don't think there's any way they're going to, like, end this game before we can cast all the cards we want to cast, you know, from our hand. Because this isn't like a one-shot lifelinker. This is like every creature for the rest of the game has lifelink. Okay, so I was going to play Symmetrist, but I think now I want to Remorse. They still have 3 cards left. They almost certainly have spells or removal or whatever. But if we wait any longer to Remorse, they may be casting their last best cards. So let's go ahead and Remorse, and then we'll sequence for 2. Obviously, I'm not planning to Mage Duel either of the pests unless I see some really surprising reasons to do so here. Okay, nothing we can do about that. We'll play the land first, of course. While it's definitely right to emergent sequence this turn, I want it to be a 2/2, not a 1/1. Actually matters quite a bit, because the Poet's Quote on it's going to get it past those pests. Well, that's a good sign. They pop quizzed again, but they just rummaged, so that means they don't have any powerful lessons to go get. And I don't really see decisions here. Put that on. I guess I'll play the land because I can bury in books in combat. And if they do play like a pump spell on one of those tokens, I'll probably bury in books it since it gets rid of it forever. Obviously, though, now I'm going to play a second creature. Yeah, playing the Master Symmetrist pre-combat would have given this trample, but who cares? What, are they going to chump it with a 1/1 and take 2, like trample? They're at 19, 22 before I attacked. Instead, I got to have Burying Books up with the 5 mana, which meant if they had like a pump spell and they blocked and pumped, I could like Burying Books the token. Okay, so if we move the Poet's Quill, we'll gain more life, but we're at 26 and counting. If we leave the Poet's Quill where it is, then both creatures can attack profitably. So that means we leave the Poet's Quill where it is. No need to fight either of those creatures. We'll fight any creature that would have actually stopped our stuff. They're going to need to win this game with, like, spells. Like, not sweepers or just, like, spot removal. But if they go cast creatures, I mean, we're going to Bury in Books it, have a great attack. Then we're going to Mage Duel it, have a great attack. Like, we're not going to lose this game to creatures. So that one can be Mage Dueled pretty easily. Plenty of mana to move the Poet's Quill around, so I'm going to go ahead and put that on the lifelink. Well, I guess whatever it's on would have lifelink, so I should have put it on the Symmetrist. But also they might have removal in response or something. So, alright, I think the Carrick is a fine choice, but it's pretty close. And then that said, let's go ahead and move the quill back now so that all three can attack profitably. I'm obviously not worried about any kind of multiple block here because if they want to triple block one of the 3/3s, I'll get to kill Zimone. That moving it around may have been bad. I didn't really need extra life, and I'd probably bury and book Zimone here if I didn't waste the mana doing that. That said, I don't necessarily need to bury and book Zimone. If they draw 2, all my creatures have trample. I can bury and books any decent-sized creature they play, and then I have lethal. But also the life is pretty irrelevant. I'm at 35. Could have just gained one less. Though, it is also possible that like moving it to a little bit bigger of a creature could prevent them from using a removal spell in response or something like that. So we'll see. If they kill the Symmetrist and play a blocker, they're not dead. If they don't play a blocker and kill the Symmetrist, they are dead, because I can just bury and books one of the tokens, attack with both, and lethal them. And Cultivate is not a blocker, so bury and books one of these, they block one, they take 3, they are dead. So we're up against a blue-green, black, learn deck, similar to ours, kind of. They're base blue-green. Well, they have Mage Hunter's Onslaught. They're just like a 3-color blue-green black deck. Spells look pretty good against them. Like, Negate looks good. But Negate's going to be good against every deck. Negate's one of the biggest losses of playing green-black and not blue-green for our pool. But as far as cards we specifically want to interact with, couple of removal spells for Snakeskin Veil. They've got their own negate that's on our mind. Good grindy creatures. They've got a counter spell. This stops Mage Hunter's Onslaught and the fight spell, so but like we already have Snakeskin, so it'd be like a second copy of that. If they're not going to pressure us at all, then Dramatic Finale might be worth bringing in here, even off of, you know, it being hard to cast. But I'll probably save that for game 3 when I'm on the play, if I want to do that. Don't really see much to do. I mean, Negate if they had like some game-winning expensive spell for sure, because it is off the splash, even though it's with a lot of sources. They are a really spell-heavy deck. Negate does look very good against them. But I don't really want to lose any of my creature kill interaction. They have those like utility type creatures that get going. I actually kind of want to bring in Heated Debate just off 3 sources because they have like Zimone, Cultivator, which I guess already did its thing, Witherbloom, but like Sedgemoor Witch is another really good one to Heated Debate. Should I bring in Heated Debate off 3 sources for a 5th color? Because like Zimone and the 3/2 Mage are things that I pretty much need to kill on sight, and they're cheap creatures. Kind of like that. 3 sources isn't great though, and these are slow sources too. These are expensive. Yeah, 3 is like a normal splash, but I think like I'm not gonna bring in the Mountain, and I have some removal. Hopefully, like, those are small creatures, so my Mage Duels should be on, so they're not that hard for me to kill quickly. So, 2 green, on the draw. Not a great hand, although it is a mostly green hand. We've got, what, 14 lands. We draw Poet's Quill, we can't cast it to get Environmental Sciences. Do have a couple green 2-drops, I think. Like, Emergent Sequence would be a good draw, so that's a 15th good draw in addition to the 14 lands. Reckless Amplemancer would be a solid draw. This is close. I do have my cheap removal with Snakeskin to protect it, so that I can kill those utility creatures. I think I gotta keep this on the draw. Hopefully we'll draw lands. If If I draw like the one white-black duel, I'm home free. Sparring Regimen, get Environmental Sciences. Letter's actually a decent draw, because now even if I draw Forest, I'm pretty much good. It looks like they may have switched into an aggro deck, thinking they can't go over the top of what they saw. They're not necessarily wrong. I mean, I don't know their list, but their lessons weren't that strong. I would have probably mulled this hand if I thought I was up against like some sort of aggressive deck. But hey, that's the advantage of a surprise, right? So now we'll see if we can catch back up. So do I play this one? I actually think I might. I should have thought of that before I cast the letter, but I didn't even think about that. Lisette is great, but I have a lot to do as far as 4-drops. I can even cast Sparring Regimen now. So I think I will just put out Valentine just to spend the mana and get a lifelinker in play. I guess with Sparring Regimen, Valentine could work out really well, potentially. It has Menace, so if it's able to connect and start growing as a Menace lifelinker, that's pretty strong. See what they do. So that's a scary creature. They obviously don't have anything to play at the moment, but they might cast something pre-combat. I mean, I can play a 4/4, but my ability, other than that, to interact with the Flame Painter isn't good this turn. I need something to grow and live. If I play the Regiment, I can go get the Environmental Sciences, but then all I have up is a Snakeskin Veil. Not great. I really want to do that, but I don't think I can take the turn off. I think I just have to cast like my 4/4 here. I have the lifelinker for next turn to help catch back up if they have the removal or even the double removal with the Flame Painter. Certainly still a winnable game. A 3/3 lifelink stops Orator and Shaman, sort of. I guess Orator has double strike now. So this is... If I don't chump, they can Heated Debate the Valentine, and I take 2 extra damage. The only upside of that, though, is then the Heated Debate is gone. They have to exile it, so they can't use it again next turn with the Flame Painter. It's 2 for 8 right now, because all their creatures effectively have double strike. But then, if they don't kill the Valentine, I get to hit back with it. If they do kill it, then I have the 3/3 lifelink, which stops all 3 creatures if they don't have anything. And if I draw a Snakeskin Veil, then I can protect it. So the question is, do I want to chump the Flame Painter? I'll save 2 life, but the Heated Debate stays in their graveyard. I'm not killing the Flame Painter next turn, so I don't think I do. I think I'd rather take a couple extra and just like make them play it out of their yard. Hopefully we'll draw a land. This is still a very winnable game. I'm not saying I'm going to win, but like, well, that's not the land I wanted to draw. Because like I have a 3/3 lifelink to play. So now I can't play the commons and the 4-drop. If I play the Amplimancer, I can like Devouring Tendrils, the Orator, and then I'm at 6. And then that's 1, 2, 3, 4, which is not 6. Plus the Amplimancer can just trade with the Shaman. So I think we pretty much have to do this. Archway Common's really punishing us here. I mean, it is a really slow land. I mean, on turn 2, it wouldn't have been an issue. They kind of got me with the switch to aggro, but we'll be able to prepare for it for game 3 at least. So, happily block here. If they don't have anything, this trade is fine. If they do have something, it's better to block, because if I don't, I'll certainly die. That said, that's going to kill me anyway. Sure. Okay, so now the opposite of what we were thinking. They're going to be like a red-white aggro. I mean, they might switch back for being on the draw, but again, that's fine. I think I have the more powerful late game. So let's see. Do any of these cards interact particularly well against a red-white aggro? Professor's Warning looks pretty good. That stops Heated Debate and everything, even though it can't be countered, right, if I give it Indestructible. We just want, like, cheaper stuff. Essence Infusion would be okay if we have enough early drops. I don't think I need to bring in the wall on the play. I might have considered it on the draw. Campus Guide might be good on the play, though. It can still trade and make sure we hit our land drops, and I'm not worried about a little bit lower power level if I'm up against a red-white aggro, which is what it looked like. Although all the expels and stuff would be bomb in this matchup if I switch to, like... Maybe I should. Maybe I switch to black, green, splash, white now that I know I actually want all the expels. And the blue cards are, like, more for power. I mean, if they might rope-a-dope me. Like I said, if they actually switch back to control, now I'm bringing in a bunch of stuff that kills tapped creatures. So that's interesting. But I'm pretty happy with this if they stay red-white, like, aggro. So let's see. If I do this, the blue is out. A million white sources is great for playing against an aggro deck. Much safer splash. Dramatic Finale could come in. It's a little easier to cast, but also I boarded in a bunch of like expels, which are going to be good, but I don't think I have that many creatures dying. Just beat them with Bookworm or whatever. So I don't think I actually want Dramatic Finale. Just take out something else slow. I don't really have that much slow stuff. So maybe the Campus Guide just comes back out. Yeah, maybe the Professor's Warning is being cuter than necessary. I know I saw Heated Debate, but I didn't see that much removal. And we have Snakeskin Veil. Alright. So, going black, green, splash, white here. Thinking I'm against red-white aggro. Don't know if it's the case or not. Hopefully, I guess, they stuck with it. It's not like Expel's a dead card if they're not aggro. But I certainly, if I thought they were going to be their Game 1 deck and not their Game 2 deck, I would definitely have the blue cards in instead of the white cards. Like, basically, triple Expel is if my opponent's just going to be an aggro deck. If they're going to try and pressure me at all times, then that's just good on conditional removal, basically. But if I need to pressure them at all, ever, then it does nothing. And I don't think this matchup against the red-white deck, if we go to turn 10 and they don't like burn me out or something, I just win against the red-white deck. Now, if they're their pop quiz deck, then it could be different. And it looks like they might have switched back for game 3 on the draw. That's their play first deck. Okay, we can get the tap land in play or we can Remorse. There's generally more value on waiting on Remorse. The only thing is I can curve out Remorse into Regimen. But I think Remorse will actually just be better later when they've... Oh, what am I saying? That's Hall of Oracles. I thought the Hall of Oracles was the commons that comes into play tapped and you have to pay 1 for. Okay, well, doesn't look like we were punished for playing it, but now with nothing else to do, I think we Remorse. I don't want to strand the 2 mana. But if that was Hall of Oracles, I would play that over Remorsing this turn. Oh, well, and they didn't switch back, they're just splashing black. Okay, well now I like the Remorse play even more. Okay, anyways, Mountain, Swamp. They can't cast Orator unless they peel Plains, and Orator doesn't look that scary. This looks like just take Phoenix, right? I know we have Expel, but this learns what it comes into play. I know we can't Expel this because it has Vigilance, but it's also just a 2-2. Like, and I'm not really worried about my creatures. Phoenix is busted. It doesn't come back from exile, right? It just comes back from the graveyard. Agonizing Remorse exiles. Yeah, as long as it's in your graveyard. Okay. So we need creatures, so... Although now that we drew Bookworm, I might just get Environmental Sciences. Oh, no. This pumps non-tokens, right? So we have to just get Pest Summoning, so we have infinite bodies to work with. Whenever you attack, put up a +1/+1 counter on target attacking creature and untap it. Yes, this is an easy Pest Summoning. Because we know they're holding a removal. This goes wide. Each one can just grow and grow and grow. Heck, we can even pump one immediately next turn, Pest Summoning and the Hall of Oracles, or Pest Summoning in the Mage's Duel if they play something we really need to kill. Okay, so that is something we really want to kill. The only ways to do it are pretty bad. Pest Summoning, not use Hall of Oracles. Mage's Duel it using the Pest Summoning token and lose the Summoning token. But that could be worth it. Granted, they don't really have anything great proactive to play, and them getting a 1/1 pest is not the end of the world. So, as long what we can't do here is something like just cast Master Symmetrist. Not that that's an option anyway, but because then they would Heated Debate it, get their 1/1, and they would be happy. But if we Pest Summoning and pump one of them and pass, I mean, if they want to get the 1/1, they're heated debating a pest summoning token, so there's some upside there. And if they attack, we'll be able to expel it on our next turn, so I think that's fine. I'm not, like, that scared of them getting a single 1/1 off that. And then, if I Mage Duel here instead, I kill the Witch, which is nice while they're tapped, but I lose the Pest token, I lose the Mage Duel, I lose a +1/+1 counter in theory. This way, they can only make 1/1s off. I don't care if they attack for 3. They can only make 1/1s. Obviously, I can't double block them. They get to play Study profitably, but I'll just take it. But they can only make 1/1s off this if they heated debate right now or Study just for damage. So I think, like, let them make 1/1/1. Next turn, I'll kill this with Expel or Mage Duel, and I'll have gotten a lot more value this way in the long run. The things I couldn't do were play Symmetrist and let them heated debate it and get their 1/1 and have a profitable turn, or I can't block because then they'd Study profitably. But if I take it, now they have to heated debate a 2/2 to get their 1/1, or, like, I don't know, Study just for damage, like, and like I said, now we can expel it, and there's nothing they can do about that. If we even want to. If I'm able to play Symmetrist and get a counter on it, I might do that, but of course, as long as Symmetrist dies to heated debate, unless they cast heated debate, I'm not planning to play Symmetrist. That would just give them a nice turn. Okay, so they have heated debate and Study up. We have Expel to kill the Witch. So I think first and foremost, let's attack with our creatures. We'll use the Regimen on the 1/1, just, you know, because they can kill either one with heated debate, so we obviously would rather have 2 2/2s than a 3/3 and a 1/1. And do I Expel now or do I pass the turn? If I pass and they cast and I Expel in response, they still get their trigger. So that's not really accomplishing much. But if they don't cast anything and they untap, they strand 3 mana. And if they cast anything, I can always Expel it then. Oh, you know what, though? I'll miss the Hall of Oracles counter. In fact, no, I couldn't Expel pre-combat for the extra Hall counter, because then they would just kill that one. But yeah, I want to Expel now, because if they want to heated debate in response to get the 1/1 token, then they have to heated debate one of the 2/2s, and then I can Hall of Oracles the other one. So I net a +1/+1 counter by expelling right now. And obviously I don't think there's anything they can do to save the Witch or anything. I think they're just going to heated debate in response, probably to get the 1/1. But I get the extra Hall of Oracles counter because I just cast Expel. So pay the 3 life, yes, of course. So, as expected, heated debate in response, expel the Witch, and of course we're not going to Mage Duel a Pest token, but we will take another +1/+1 counter on our remaining Pest. It's going to be a tough game to lose. I mean, I don't know what's in their hand. I'm not saying we're definitely going to win. They have 5 cards, but our hand's good. Okay, so attack, and then Letter of Acceptance, leave up Infuse, which doesn't really work with tokens, or just cast Symmetrist, and then we don't get Letter out. I think we'll just cast Symmetrist. Now that they've used their heated debate. Oh, wait, if I attack and they block and play Enthusiastic Study, they'll be big enough to kill my creature. I don't even want to give them that option. So... oh, yeah, I can't cast Master Symmetrist either because I don't have double green. All right, I'm chilling. I know this is unexciting, but there's no way I'm going to let them play this 3-mana card to kill my 4/4 with their 1/1 and then learn maybe for Environmental Sciences. They might literally play this end of turn just to get Environmental Sciences here, even without me attacking, as you can see. So an attack would have literally been horrific. It would have let them trade this 1/1 for my 3/3 that's going to grow to a 4/4 next turn. Okay, so now this attacks, it's a 4/4. They can double block. I don't really want to lose my creature. If I Mage Duel first, the extra 2 toughness means my creature lives. So that looks good. I don't think there's anything they can do in response. So I'm going to Mage Duel here. Kill that Pledge Mage. And then there's no reason to leave up Infuse, because if they can kill my creature somehow, Infuse doesn't work because it's a token. So let's just go ahead and grow as big as we can. Looks good. Obviously, they can chump if they want, but that's fine. Then they're chump blocking, and now I have a growing 5/5. Cool. We got round 1. Still got to get 6 more to get paid. Well, 5 more to get paid. I would never complain about cashing for the 1,000, because even if you have a good deck and you're a good player, nobody's ever a favorite to 7/1 or even remotely close to a favorite to 7/1. 6 and 2, you're certainly not a favorite to do. Like, I'm not a favorite to go 6 and 2 or better right now. But, you know, it's 5 and 2 with a win already, a good pool, a good player, etc. So, like, it's the odds of going 6 and 2 are just way better than the odds of going 7 and 1. So if you're complaining about getting 6 wins in this, then I suggest a different hobby for you that doesn't involve variance. All right. I'm going to be playing first all day. It's not like it's a cheap removal deck. I've got a bunch of fight spells and creatures. Hopefully we'll draw some lands. I mean, we're on the play, so I'm not like super worried about getting run over. We just can't cast any of the other cards in our hand at the moment. But if we draw a Forest for Symmetrist, and we draw lands for Rise, and then that goes in, the Lesson goes and gets a creature, and so on. Or if we draw creatures. So if we draw Forest or we draw creatures, then we unlock cards in our hand. Or Island. Barry buys a lot of time. Okay, I really want to get that Commons out, but not more than I want to play Symmetrist right now, so let's do that. No clue if they're going to be able to kill it or not, but there's actually not that much in this format. There's like Swamp Mage's Onslaught, or if they have, you know, the 4-mana white card, but that's not an auto play. Cool, and they didn't have anything, and now we can Mage's Duel if we want. I think it's pretty safe, but do I actually want to kill either of those creatures with Mage's Duel? I know I have 2 more removal in my hand. I mean, if I kill one and attack, they might have Expel. I think I'm just going to play Archway Commons and chill. I don't think I'm ending this game anytime soon. And, like, I don't think I really want to Mage's Duel a 1-2 or a 2-1 that's currently doing nothing. Also, if they... I wouldn't play around Expel that much because, like, it's going to do what it's going to do. But in this situation, they're going to strand the 3 mana this early in the game versus getting to spend it if they have Expel or some other combat trick. So I don't think I really want to do anything. I'll just make my land drop, let them not spend their mana. Next turn, I have Rise of Extus, which, even though these are, again, the targets, I'm much happier to cast, because then I'm going to go get Fractal Summoning or whatever, and then have more creatures to work with. Okay, so let's see. Some interesting developments. Drawing Hall of Oracles makes me want to wait at least 1 turn on Rise of Extus, so I don't miss +1/+1 counters. So now, maybe I just want to play Mage Duel, and then I can Hall as well. And then I can attack. They still won't be able to block, and with 1 white up, they can't do anything. I know this isn't much different than last turn, but I was going to Rise of Extus here. Having drawn the Hall of Oracles, now I'm very interested in not missing counters. and I don't mind delaying things by a turn, and their mana's not up. So if they want to expel it on their turn, that will take up their mana next turn, as opposed to letting them spend 3 mana that's unspent. Like right now, their mana's tapped. Sure, they might expel it on their turn, but then they're not getting to spend mana that would have went unspent. If I had attacked last turn, they had their mana up, they would have gotten to expel it then. Instead, we stranded their mana. Okay, so now my choices are Rise of Extus, and then I do miss the Hall counter, though, because I don't have anything to pump. Or I can, like, Brackish Trudge, and then I could, like, Burying Books when they attack or something if I want to, which I don't really want to. Think using 6 is better than using 3. Although those aren't good targets for Rise of Extus, so that's a reason to play Trudge first. Then next turn I can, like, Rise of Extus and put the Hall counter on the Trudge. So yeah, I'm just going to do that. Also, knowing the Rise is going to give me... Actually, with how many more cards the opponent has than me, you know what I can do? I can Burying Books, and then I can Rise for that lesson that draws 2 if they have more cards, and 3 if they have, like, way more cards. And we'll get at least 2 guaranteed, and we might get 3 out of that thing. We'll see what we draw next turn. Just play the same Urisendilu. Magic is the same whether you're playing the finals of the Pro Tour or a casual kitchen table game against your opponent. You're just always trying to make the play that gives you the highest chance to win, regardless of what's at stake. Good luck, though. So here, I'm definitely, since I took this line, I'm going to play the Burying Books, I think, because I really don't want to get, like, accidentally killed or run over or whatever, and I'm not really worried about long game because I'm going to Rise for that lesson that draws 2 or 3 cards. The downside, I guess, when they Campus Guide again, they can search for a land, but this ensures they won't draw a land 2 turns from now, and then if they draw a land after that, like, whatever. Okay, so now, well, Sparring Regiment. Oh, that's great, because Sparring Regiment untaps the creature when it attacks, which means they can't expel it. At least now. I think they can with the trigger on the stack if they have their mana up then, but now they don't. So that makes this a no-brainer. And then I'm still probably going to get that same lesson. How many more cards do they have to have? 4 more? So right now it would draw 2, not 3. I actually have the 2 red lands if I want to get this, but I don't have anything I want to discard anyway. Could also get Pest Summoning here, actually. Now that they have an Expel on top and 2 small creatures that with the regimen won't stop Pest Summoning, I think I want Pest Summoning. And then we can put the +1/+1 counter on the Trudge. Not from the commons, from the Hall. Oh, we can't use it yet, but we can after we cast this. So let's just tap correctly. I can always pump those, but even as 2/2s, if they attack, they're big enough. So I don't want to miss damage for now. We don't know when they're going to be able to expel the Trudge. It's not like they're going to expel the Trudge right now because I have the Sparring Regimen. So the Sparring Regimen plays around the expel that we know they're drawing this turn pretty well. I think, again, if I attack, this trigger goes on the stack and they can expel it while it's tapped. But then they have to leave their mana up and then I just won't attack with the Trudge. Maybe I'll send the Pests if they want to expel those. Who cares? Maybe I won't attack with anything. We'll see. But definitely I won't, like, send the Trudge unless the Pests are killing them or something like that. We also know 2 turns from now they're drawing a 2/1. And if they cast that, they can't expel unless this card is a land. This Pest Summoning is going to be really good with the Sparring Regimen. Just gives me small bodies to grow bigger, and it's going to be really hard for people to run me out of creatures if I go get 2/1/1s that both grow into formidable threats. Sparring Regimen is excellent. It was 100% right to play Sparring Regimen in the stack. Whether I'm supposed to be black-green splash white or black-green splash blue and play Regimen, I'm not sure, but I am sure that I'm supposed to play Regimen. I mean, literally, I have so many sources without even putting a plains in my deck. It's incredible. 2 black-white duels, these 2 gold lands, and Letter of Acceptance. It's 5 sources before without even putting a basic plains in my deck. Okay, so I think the way it works is if I attack, this trigger goes on the stack, and they can expel a tapped creature. Obviously, if they want to expel a pest, I don't care. But I don't want to let them expel this trudge. So I think I want to Rise of Exodus, the 1/2, because that one could block a 1/1 pest. Then I can attack with both pests, grow one of them. Actually, grow one pre-combat. Oh, but then I don't need to expel the 1/2 because they're both going to be 2/2s. So then I can expel the 2/1. I mean, Rise the 2/1. Because then, so what I didn't want to have happen was a 1/1 pest attack into a 1/2. But what I can do is Rise the 2/1 and then use the Hall of Oracles to put a counter on one of the pests, and then use the Sparring Regimen to put a counter on the other pest. So that means I can get rid of the bigger flyer. Let me make sure it's tapping correctly. It might try and leave me that land, which is unacceptable. Make sure it leaves me the Hall. And then I will go get the teachings this time. It's going to draw at least 2, maybe 3. Counter on one of the pests. And then I'm not attacking with the Trudge because I think they could expel it while it's tapped. But I am sending the 2 pests because I can put the +1/+1 counter on this pest. And I don't care at all if they expel one of the pests. Okay, so do we want to change anything? We saw what? Black-white. I mean, they got stuck on 4 lands. We didn't see that much of their deck. They have a cheap removal, the Assistant, Stonerise Spirit. They are a creature deck, but I don't necessarily know that we want expels against this. I mean, it's hard to do much when we didn't see very many cards. They played Stonerise Spirit, Pledge Mage, Campus Guide, Expel, Lash of Malice, and Biblioplex Assistant. That's literally the only 6 cards we saw. Couple small flyers, but we don't have anything that punishes that. Like we don't have like the green card that does 3 to a flyer or something like that. So not going to change much based on what we saw there. I see the chat saying LSV opened 2 mascot exhibitions. It's so ridiculous. He's semi-famous among some of our circles he's famous for a million reasons, but for back in the day, the 2 best rares in the format in Return to Ravnica Limited were Pack Rat and Mizium Mortars, I think, or at least 2 of the S-tier rares. And there were 2 North American sealed Grand Prix in that format, and LSV opened Mizium Mortars and Pack Rat in both of them. 2 for 2 on opening the 2 busted rares, the 2 best rares in the format. I also think Mascot Exhibition is the #1 card in the format, not because its power level is #1 for its casting cost, but because it's a learn card, so you can just get it every single game. It's colorless, and you can search for it. So that means, literally, you can play it, almost every game. So, of course, we're going to play the tap land, the always tap land before the sometimes tap land. And we actually can play Pledge Mage next turn, thanks to this basic island. Okay, so we don't want to trade Amplimancer for Pilgrim, of course, so no attack, no block this turn. We definitely want to get our Pledge Mage out. Mentor's Guidance double triggers, puts 2 counters on the Pledge Mage. So next turn could be pretty good. Depending on what they do, we can, like, Hall of Oracles up the Amplimancer to get it past the Pilgrim, and double Mentor's Guidance to get the Pledge Mage past. So we could be attacking with a 4/4 and a 3/3, or a 5/5 and not a 2/2 if they play like a 3/3 or something. We'll see. We'll have to see what they do, of course. But we're gonna have, and we have the Mage's Duel. Well, that's not great for those plans because this has Death Touch. So now that makes me want to attack a lot less. I mean, I can trade with the Spiteful Squad if I can Mage Duel profitably away the Pilgrim after it gets the counters. And that would deal with the Spiteful Squad pretty well. I don't have that many ways to exile. I've got the Rise of Extus. I do see a lot of cards this turn. I could put the Hall of Oracle counter on the Amplimancer and send just that. That looks decent. So I think I want to do that. So I'm going to go ahead and play this because I already know I'm bottoming lands looking for spells. Once you know what you need, the draw 2, scry 2 here for the double trigger seems pretty good. And we don't have any like really impactful plays for this turn. Obviously, I bottomed the land. I'm going to top Bookworm. We're going to cast that in a few turns. And then I'm going to go ahead and put the counter on the Amplimancer and offer that up for the Spiteful Squad. It's not like a great trade for me, but the Pledge Mage is going to continue to grow, so I really want the Death Toucher out of the way. I don't know if they have an answer in their hand or not for this Pledge Mage, but, you know, you want to make your opponents have it. It's not like we lose if they kill the Pledge Mage. We still have Bookworm now, which with Letter of Acceptance, we're already only 1 land away. And, of course, like, Mage Duel grows this twice with the Hall of Oracles, like, well past the Pilgrim. Now that they're duressing us, we'll see what they take, probably the duel. We have to draw another spell or the Pledge Mage can't attack, but any spell in the deck because Hall of Oracles. And it's not like we're doing nothing in the meantime. We're advancing towards a Bookworm, so life could be worse. Certainly not going to block. Okay, so we drew another Mage Duel. That's good. I don't mind killing the Pilgrim. They can recur it, but, I mean, we're pretty far ahead. That'll take their whole turn. I can play Letter of Acceptance and Mage Duel, but then I miss the counter. The Pledge Mage is already going to be bigger than the Pilgrim. Well, than anything, because the Pilgrim's going to die. I want the counter on the Dina, is what I'm trying to say. If I play land, Mage Duel, and Dina, I can't put the counter on it. So I don't know that I want to Mage Duel this turn. I think what I want to do this turn is attack, and then play Letter of Acceptance, Dina, and my tap land. Even though it's nice to Mage Duel while their mana's tapped, I'm not that worried about instant removal out of them at a black-white here. I mean, Expel doesn't work until, you know, pre-combat, unless I choose to tap my creature. Mage Hunter's Onslaught is a sorcery. I'm not going to be using a 2-toughness creature, so they're not going to get me with Lash. So here we can go... We have to tap this, because it's colorless, if we want to use all our mana perfectly this turn. And now we play Dina. And now we play our tap land. The main reason for this line, instead of Mage Dueling the Pilgrim this turn, was because I really want the +1/+1 counter from Hall of Oracles on the Dina, not on the Pilgrim. So, not going to block, because if they play like a Revitalize or something, Silver Quill Apprentice would just eat Dina for free. Okay, so now it gets interesting. Their mana is untapped, but again, there's not a lot. The commons, the black-white can do here. Lash doesn't work. Expel doesn't work. Mage Hunter's Onslaught's a sorcery. There's the thing that kills a creature with power 4 or greater. But I can actually play around that if I use the Dina. But I can't actually do that, because if I Mage Duel with the Dina, it's not big enough to kill the Pilgrim. It will be after the counter, but I can't put this counter on until the Mage Duel is resolved, because this is sorcery speed only. I still think I'm going to go for it, because I'm 1 land away from Bookworm. But so what I want to do is Pledge Mage, and then Mage Duel, and then use the Hall of Oracle. If I Mage Duel with... Oh, if I Mage Duel with this Pledge Mage, this will be a 3/3, so they can't hit it with the... Oh, but they can lash in response. If I go right now and play Mage Duel, targeting this Pledge Mage, and they have Lash, it's a huge blowout. And they haven't used one yet, so that's probably not worth it. I definitely want to cast the Duel. It's going to get me 2 counters. I mean, there's no reason to think they have the 4 mana Destroy. So I'm just going to use my biggest, best creature here. If they kill it in response, like, frown, but, like, I'll survive. And, like, there's not a lot, like I said. Mage Hunter's Onslaught's a sorcery. Expel doesn't work. Lash doesn't work. So that's definitely not going to, like, destroy me or something. It's going to just fizzle the fight, I think. So I'll get my counters and everything will live. So I certainly still want the counter on Dina, I think, because then the 2/4 can block the 2/2. If they have a spell, they can kill Dina, but I'll still kill their creature. And then I think we can just hit for 6. I mean, they're winning the race in life totals, but I'm winning the race because I have 10 power in play and they have 6. Maybe I should have sent Dina there, because the Pledge Mage stops Apprentice, sort of. Like, I wouldn't want to block it if they attacked, and I'd probably have to, but then they'd have to play something. It's very possible I should have attacked for 2 with Dina there. You don't want to be too aggressive with a Bookworm in your hand. Like, I don't want to lose the game by Xaxes to a pump spell and a removal or something. 1 land short of casting Bookworm. Like, now if I draw land, I cast Bookworm. If I draw a spell, I cast the spell. So I'm in the really good limited position of a spell is a good draw and a land is a good draw. So that's certainly not the time you want to be aggressive. But I'm not sure that I actually needed Dina back. It might have been a mistake to not send it. Okay, so we drew the land. I can Bookworm pre-combat, get the 1 point of drain, but I don't think we're sending Dina into the 4/3 anyway. 3/3 for 4/3 seems fine right now. 5/5, they'd have to double block and lose both. So I think there's no reason to Bookworm pre-combat. We just attack with the 2 Pledge Mages. Their choices here are not very good. They can trade the 4/3 for the 3/3 and take 5, or they can, like, double block the 5/5 and then take 3. And lose both, if they don't have anything to play for this 2 white mana. And then, of course, post-combat is just Forest Bookworm. And I'm not, like, super scared, because, I mean, even if they had a sweeper or something, Bookworm comes back. If they do play a sweeper, then we'll set an upkeep stop to put the Bookworm back. If not, I think the game's over. Well, I guess they could exile the Bookworm, but, I mean, then still, like, I'm attacking both these. They're not, like, dead on board, but they're chump blocking and going to 2. It's pretty bad for them. Thank you, Crazy Canines. Appreciate the subscription. Okay, let's set the upkeep stop now. It's actually kind of important. Oh, I didn't get it off in time, I guess. Luckily, I think they're just dead now anyway. This wouldn't have changed. I would have just spent 3 on my upkeep, so I'd get the Bookworm 1 turn sooner. But now we can Tendrils, and then when we gain the 2 from Dina, they get drained for 1. So, and then the Hall counter on the Dina, and we can remove one of the 2 blockers, so they're dead. So now we gain 2, which means they get drained for 1. Puts them to 3. And we present 2 3-power creatures. So we advance to round 3. Generally in the sideboard Prestone Mage, because you normally have way more learn cards than that one lesson. So like if it's a broken lesson, if you have 3 or 4 learn cards, then you're gonna have 3 or 4 cracks at getting it every game. Whereas if it's in your library, you only have 1. Now, if you have no lessons, obviously you'd main it. If you had 1 lesson, you could consider maining it. But if it's a broken lesson or a really strong lesson and you have like 3 or 4 learn cards, like you usually do, then you'd rather have 3 or 4 abilities to search for it than the 1 ability to draw it. All right, this hand looks fine. We can add 1 to the casting cost of Burying Books if we need to, so we've got all our mana. I mean, we don't have a forest, but we have Hall of Oracles, so again, we can add 1 to the casting cost of some cheap green cards if we need to. Plus our hand's disruptive. Oh wait, we actually can't cast Pledge Mage. We need a forest or an island. So I need to draw like 1 forest for this hand to be pretty smooth. But I mean, like, with 3 lands and the Hall, we'll have to just see what we draw. Okay, that's about the worst draw in our deck. It doesn't really unlock much. I guess it unlocks Burying Books through Hall or whatever, but really just hoping for a forest, island, or spells I can cast. Do I want to Remorse turn 2? Not really. I'm not going to spend my mana that well this game. Although I do kind of want to slow them down if they have like an aggressive 2-drop. I mean, I definitely could see holding Remorse for Pledge Mage, but also we can't even cast Pledge Mage. So, oh, and for Hall of Oracles. Actually, yeah, that's enough of a reason combined. I have Burying Books to slow them down if they curve out. Okay, now we'll play Sparring Regimen, go get Environmental Sciences, get our forest, unlock our deck. No real decisions. I know that, we don't have a ton and we don't need the lands that badly, but we're a 16-land deck with a land that puts +1/+1 counters in play. I really just want to unlock, like, using Hall and casting whatever I want when I want and so on. Okay, if I had drawn an island or forest this turn, I would have likely played Pledge Mage before Environmental Sciences, so I could get the counters from the Hall. But now I have no choices this turn except Environmental Sciences and Remorse. And I still think I want to wait the 1 turn on Remorse. I'm definitely going to get something good, but I want to get 2 counters on Pledge Mage, 1 from Hall and 1 from casting it. So this turn I'm going to Environmental Sciences. Of course, go get the forest. And just chill. I mean, I'm not really under pressure. I know that if they resolve something good this turn, I can always Burying Books it. And then I can... Well, I can't Remorse it later necessarily then, but... Another nice thing that I was going to say, if they didn't have their own discard spell, was since I only have 1 creature, if I go Pledge Mage Remorse next turn, I get the Pledge Mage counter, I miss the Hall counter, but I protect the Pledge Mage. So that's scary. They chose to take Remorse over Pledge Mage here. So that tells us they have some pretty good stuff to do. So if we Pledge Mage, just pass, no real choices unless we draw something that gives us a better option. Obviously that doesn't. We can't play Pledge Mage and Archway Commons, but we have plenty of mana now, so we'd rather just get Pledge Mage out. Wonder what lesson they're going to get. Maybe a Pest Summoning. It's kind of weird to sack a 1/5 wall that gains 1 a turn just to do that this turn, unless you have good reason. I don't know what else that means could be in their hand. If they expanded Anatomy, I'll be pretty happy. Introduction to Annihilation. I guess I can kill Sparring Regimen, but it's going to take their whole turn and I'm going to draw a card. I think I'm okay with that. Oh, that's why they sacked it. That makes sense. See, people always have reasons. You always think your opponent makes a play that seems bad, but they always have reasons for their plays. I was like, why would they throw away a 1/5 defender here that gains a life a turn just to, go get this, that they don't particularly need right now, this lesson? You can always sack it later when you're going to cast the lesson. But the reason was Deadly Brew. Then they were able to sack their 2/1 and get back their 0/4, which is a much more valuable card. Okay, so for now, we could have Burying Books up. Oh, I could bury the Letter of Acceptance, actually. That would slow them down mana-wise. I mean, I would rather bury the Overgrown Arch, but if they have their mana up, I can't do that. I'm just missing counters playing Bury here. I can just wait on Bury and maybe get counters. I'm just going to get the commons in play. Oh, actually, I just made a small mistake. I didn't realize I had the Campus. I probably should have just played an on-tap land, and scryed. Scry 1 would have been more valuable there, I think. But this turn I can do it. Play the 3-mana card, and then I can still scry. And I do want to sack the Letter of Acceptance, but not for 2 mana when I can scry for 4 here. Just bottom any land, dig towards our Bookworm, or any Learn card, or anything powerful. Really just about anything, since we're holding 2 removal to pseudo removal. Okay, that's a powerful card. I want to bury in Books, probably. But I can discard this Forest, so I can let them sack the Pest first. So I think we can scry here still. Cheap Creature's not actually a bad draw at the moment, I don't think. If I bury in Books on their turn, I can't get the +1/+1 counter, but I can play it cheaper, and I kill a Pest. So that seems like that's enough reason. I wouldn't mind Mage dueling with the Amplimancer, but as a 3/4, it doesn't kill the 4/3. Can I get the +1/+1 counter on it first? Yes, if I cast Bury. So I could go Bury the 7/6, Amplimancer, +1/+1 counter on the Amplimancer, and Mage Duel. I probably have enough mana, but I don't think all of that is worth it. I can just take a few more points of life. Let them sack a Pest. I have to hold the Forest in case they choose to sack the Woe Eater, which they very well might, because, I mean, they can't keep it around forever. But obviously, I don't want to use anything on it if they're going to sack it, because I have a land I'm happy to discard, so all it did was draw a card there. Zoomancy, Professor, I mean, I can bury in Books it if I want to. It's not really the ideal target, given they'll get another 1/1 when they play it again later, but it is just a 1/1 Pest. What is this thing? Whenever an opponent attacks one or more planeswalkers you control, put a loyalty counter on it. Okay. Whenever a permanent you control puts target a spell or ability an opponent controls, you can draw a card. Ouch. So I'm going to probably Mage Duel that away. If I'm going to bury in Books, I want to do it in response. But I don't want to do that. I just want to Mage Duel that away. So I'll just take 4 this turn if they attack with Zoomancy, I think. And again, we can use the Scry. I mean, it's expensive, but every land can go to the bottom, every spell on top. So there's some pretty good value there right now. That's a pretty decent draw. All right, so we need to kill this thing first, but we also want to plan out our turn a little. We have 8 mana. The first duel is 3. That leaves us 5. 1 for the Hall leaves us 4. So then we could, play the other Mage Duel if we can and still live. We certainly can on the Pledge Mage. The question is, can we hit the Zoomancy? Do we even want to? The Pledge Mage is already effectively a 3/3, maybe bigger. So, first and foremost, I'm holding 3 interactive spells. I've got to kill Mia here. Hate letting the opponent draw cards, but there's no way to stop them from drawing their 1. Now I can pump it, and then I can Mage Duel away either of the other two creatures, the Pledge Mage or the Zoomancy. I'm not sure which one's better. I think it's the Pledge Mage. Although I can you know what? Actually, it's the Zoomancy because of Burying Books. Pledge Mage is a great target for Burying Books. Reset it to a 2/2 after they've played their spells. So, let's see. Hall of Oracles. And now I get to 5, so I can fight and live, right, on the Zoomancy. Cool. Can't attack because they would just trade a pest for it. I guess I could have attacked before I fought the Zoomancy, but they could have still just double blocked then. Also, like, I mean, I'm not that worried about attacking them in this position. But I like this line. I don't know what they're going to have, but I have Burying Books, so I'm going to block the Pledge Mage and find out. Okay. We get the pseudo blowout here, assuming they don't have something else that interacts. So this is just good. Now we can attack, and then it gets pumped by the regimen. We've got 7. We have enough mana to sack the letter and to play the Moldering Karok. So let's sack the letter first, see what we get. Nothing to putrefy and play at the moment that I care about, but nice card to have in hand, I think. This game's starting to look pretty good. I know they're holding removal, but I mean, we have 3 targets. Like, if they don't kill the regimen, the Akarik and every other creature for the rest of the game will grow. If they kill, if they kill the Amplimancer, like I said, then the Akarik regimen. Plus, like, we have the Scryland, so like we should just be able to pull up any random creatures, go get our pest summoning, make 2/1/1s that'll grow forever. If they kill the regimen, then they have to deal with the Amplimancer and the Akarik. So I think this game's starting to look excellent. So if they just tap out for a big fractal summoning, we'll certainly just putrefy it. Pump with our hull, pump with our regimen. If they go for the removal instead, I don't know what they're going to kill, so it's kind of hard to really evaluate. Okay, so 4 for Lisette, plus 1 for the abilities 5, plus 3 for putrefy is 8, and we only have 7. So we can't do that this turn. But life's still good. Happily putrefy the 6/6, of course. Attack with both. Guess we'll grow the lifelinker. Plus, it might need it to keep attacking more than the Amplimancer, since that can already double to an 8/8. Not right now, but if we need it to. No reason to play Valentine here. Save it to be Lisette. I used 2 entries on day 1, Synquinon. Ironically, my first deck was a lot better than my second, but drew medium with the first and went 3/3, drew really well with the second and went 7/1. Okay, so we really want to play the Symmetrist here pre-combat, because that's going to give us trample, so they can't, like, chump it. And that's it. I don't think... I mean, I guess I kind of want to Tendrils the Pledge Mage, but it definitely might be better to Tendrils like a Death Toucher, since it's a bite, not a fight. And they're down to 1 card. I don't know how much that Pledge Mage is going to grow. I think this turn is just Symmetrist, so they can't chump block. And, I mean, with my creatures having Vigilance thanks to the Sparring Regimen, Trample thanks to the Symmetrist, and just being huge, like, there's just nothing really effective they can do right now. Okay, I'm pretty sure this is basically just game. It might be lethal, it might not, but basically game either way, because I can double the Amplimancer, and they can't do anything with 1 mana. And then, let's give it I'm going all in on the Amplimancer here, because I'm going to double it. And it has trample, so they can't, like, jump it. So that's 18 points of trample over 3 toughness. That means they're taking 15 unless they have something to play. Good stuff. Okay, so what are we up against here? Looks like a 4 or 5 color deck. Green, black, white. Yeah, maybe just an Abzan. Some letter of acceptance and some fixing. Campus guide. It's not like they have... Again, I would board and negate off the splash. We have plenty of blue sources with that island in there. If there's, like, you know, the 7 mana, switch your graveyard in your hand, or, you know, some incredibly powerful late-game sweeper or something. Fractal Summoning's a good target, but they have a lot of creatures. I don't really want to have a negate in my hand and have them play powerful creatures, like Zoomancy and Mia and Pledge Mage. Although, what's the other half of this? Planeswalkers can be negated. You may discard a card if you do draw a card. If a creature is discarded this way, draw 2. That's whatever. +1 to Rummage. Even if you draw 2, you're discarding a creature in the late game, then it's fine. Return a creature from your graveyard to the battlefield. It gains haste. That can be good, but goes away at the end of turn, so it's not that scary. Yeah, this is actually not that scary, a Planeswalker. Like, it could win a game, but, I mean, it's 6 mana, has plenty of loyalty, but these abilities are not that impressive. Expel, certainly not. They're like a 3-color control deck. The Expel plan will only be against, like, real aggro decks, where basically if we get to the late game, we win. Yeah, I don't think there's much to do. It's a little less than usual, Siza. Well, at least the chat interaction is, but the commentating on the plays is still going to be plenty. It's not really that hard for me to tell you my thoughts. The difference is, like, when I'm not commentating my plays, I'll think through everything in my head for, like, 40 seconds and then just do it all. So I play better Magic. But, like I said, at this point in my career, I'm interested in spike content and teaching people how to have the best chance to win, take the card that gives them the highest chance to win. But I don't really care that much how much I actually win. I would rather make good content. You know, like, that's where I see myself moving forward. So it hurts my play a little bit to tell you what I'm thinking, not because it's, like, a big deal, but because it means I can't just organize my whole turn and their turn and think 2 turns ahead in my head at the start of the turn and then do it all. But other than that, it's, like, it's fine. I also gain a lot from the chat feedback. I've always pointed this out. Yes, telling all your thoughts hurts your play a little bit, but also you get a lot of great feedback from the chat. Oh, yeah, I see somebody now commenting on that. They're going to be commenting on it again, that I'm talking to the past 10 minutes ago or whatever. Yeah, I mean, listen, I assume most people who are chatting will still be around 10 minutes later to see the response to what they said, so... Yeah, you're talking to future Ben. But I'm still going to respond to the chat from 10 minutes ago. I just know that you're not watching my play live, so what you're suggesting is from what you saw 10 minutes ago and what you're talking about. Okay, this time I'm going to Remorse turn 2. Even though it didn't work out last time, I think it was right. But the reason it's right to Remorse turn 2 this time is because I have 2 lands and infinite stuff to do. So even though I actually have less ways to put counters on the Pledge Mages and things like that, that's not really the driving factor. It's about spending my mana. This game, I have 1 land in hand and 1,000,000 mana worth of cards to spend, whereas last game I had like 4, 5, 6 lands early and like not that much to do. Alright, so I can take the Blood Mage, it keeps them off a card. Not that it's particularly important to me right now. The Witherbloom and the Mage Hunters are probably better, but just stranding their 3 mana on turn 3 seems like it's a clear Callous Blood Mage, because I'm not scared of Mage Hunter's Onslaught. I'm like a grindy deck, like I don't care if they kill any one of my creatures, and I think I can beat a 5 mana 5/5. So I think like stranding their 3 mana on turn 3, and they don't get a new card, and these cards are not that scary for me. I think that's correct. If I knew they were going to top deck another 3-drop, I probably would have took the 5/5, but obviously it's not a huge deal. Okay, so will we have Lisette mana next turn? No, because not unless we play Letter of Acceptance. Because Hall of Oracles we'd have to filter through. So I think getting these Pledge Mages out with no ability to grow them quickly isn't very valuable for us. So I'm just going to play Letter here. Now, if you just literally switch the island in my hand to a forest, then I would have played Pledge Mage this turn, because then I could just play Lisette next turn anyway. And I'll find some time to get the Letter of Acceptance in play. But getting my 4/4 out right now has more value, in my opinion. Yes, I know that they have this Mage Hunter's Onslaught, but they can't cast it on board. And if they kill Lisette, they kill Lisette. The real point here is just making my impactful plays. Next turn now I'll double Pledge Mage, and then hopefully we'll be able to win with Bookworm later. The cool thing about last card Bookworm is, like, we don't know if we're going to draw 2 lands anytime soon, but if we don't, we're drawing spells. And we can cast, like, every other spell in our deck. So if we draw lands, we have Bookworm. If we draw spells, we have whatever those spells are. Okay, so now it's 2 Pledge Mages, or it's Pledge Mage and Fanatic. I'm going to attack with the Lisette either way. Think I'd rather just spend more mana. I mean, there's a realistic chance I could attack and gain 2 out of the Fanatic, but I also just don't think I'm going to need that. It's not like I'm going to be triggering Lisette. They're going to Mage Hunter's Onslaught Lisette next turn. And if I do draw any spell, I might really pump these Pledge Mages and get to attack with them profitably. Because if they grow to a 4/4, then the Arch can't block them. And the Fanatic, of course, doesn't have that grow ability. And yeah, I know I don't have anything to do right now, but again, if I draw any spell in the deck, that it's not like I'm trying to draw a pump spell, just literally any instant or sorcery triggers these, and I have a lot. And like I said, I don't expect to get to trigger Lisette. I expect they're going to Mage's Onslaught Lisette. So it's not like I put the Fanatic out because it might get to attack and then trigger Lisette. I wasn't expecting that to happen. So now it's just Fanatic and Chill. I could Scry, but the thing is, I don't even know what I want to draw. Because, like, I would Scry, like, a weak 2-drop to the bottom. But a land unlocks Bookworm, but that's going to happen at some point anyway. I'm not under pressure. And, like, a spell is a spell, a land unlocks Bookworm. So, given both a land and a spell is a relatively good draw, that means Scry has very little value. That's not to say I won't Scry as opposed to having nothing else to do. But it's not a priority. That said, I just realized the auto-tapper got me because I could have just tapped Letter of Acceptance and Forest to cast Leech Fanatic and then Scryed with the Campus. And obviously Scrying is better than not. There's very few cards I would bottom right now, but I would bottom a weak spell. Like, if I looked at just, like, some 2-drop creature, I would bottom that. I would top, like, any instant or sorcery, probably. I would top, like, a removal. I would top a power card creature. I would top a land. But, so Scry has very minimal value, but I would bottom, like, a 2-drop, you know, like, or something like that. Or even, like, a 3-drop that's not very strong. But I think it was better to cast Leech Fanatic than Scry if you had to choose. But, of course, I didn't have to choose. I could have tapped the Letter of Acceptance and the Forest for Leech Fanatic, and then still Scryed, and that would have been the optimal turn. Okay, so Mage Duel is a good spell, but I don't think we can take out their Pledge Mage. I think it got a little big here. If I Mage Duel using one of my Pledge Mages, it grows to a 3/3, and then it grows to a 4/5, but I can't get the Hall of Oracles counter on it in time. So it's actually a pretty bad draw this turn, though it will work later, probably. So what do I want to do now? It's actually a pretty rough draw. I guess I just have to chill. This time I will Scry, and then if we get a land, we can Bookworm and whatever. Certainly not going to triple block. If I knew this card was a blank, I would consider it, but I mean, if they played a trick and killed all 3 of my creatures, I would be, like, devastated. And next turn's going to be fine. We'll either find an instant or sorcery, or we'll find a land for Bookworm. So I think we're certainly topping that. We can go get environmental sciences. This is just going to be a great turn. Let's see. We're not going to need blue. Let's just make sure we tap as best as we can. And I think we're practically going off here. We're going to be able to kill a 5/5 with Mage Duel now, I think. Get land 8 for next turn. I think we're going to basically get to do everything we want, and it's just going to be glorious. I assume it doesn't matter what land we get. I have a bunch of basic forests in play. Letter of Acceptance to cast Mage's Duel, and then we use the Hall. Yeah, so we get the Swamp. So now... Oh, wait, I don't even have to do that now, right? Because now Mage's Duel will make these 4/4s, and then the Pledge Mage counter will make it... Sorry, Mage's Duel will make it a 4/5, and then the Pledge Mage counter makes it a 5/6. So I can beat a 5/5. Do I want to beat the growing 5/5 or the 5/5 that gains life? Definitely the growing 5/5. There's just an issue they could have a spell for 2 mana. So let's just get the extra counter first, I think, just in case they have like a cantrip or something like that, like a Revitalize. But I am going to try and kill the one that could grow because I don't like expect them to have anything here. Oh, no, actually, wait a minute. No, I completely lied to you there because I want to be able to attack. So I just want to kill the Witherbloom Pledge. In that case, I'm going to use this one so that I can spread out my counters. This is actually somewhat important because it lets me attack and grow with the Leech Fanatic as well, with the Sparring Regimen. I misprocessed there that the Pledge Mage was tapped and the Witherbloom... that the Quandrix Pledge Mage was tapped, whereas the Witherbloom Pledge Mage was untapped. Because, like, it's close. They're both 5/5s. They have 1 card left in hand. Like, this may grow, but ultimately, I'm going to Bookworm. I've got a Scryland. Like, I'm just going to kill or bounce it or something sooner or later. Or just grow my stuff more with the Sparring Regimen and all of that. So, like, this is... The Quandrix Pledge Mage is the better one to kill for sure, but not at the cost of, like, this massive attack. Like, the Leech Fanatic can't go at all if the Witherbloom is untapped, and then the Witherbloom can trade with, like, one of these Pledge Mages. So, at that cost, it's just a pretty clear play. Whoa, well, not happy about that. That was brutal. I mean, I still have Bookworm. I can certainly recover, but they just swept my board. That was quite ugly. The cool thing, though, as long as they can't blank the Bookworm, even if they can trade with it, I'll just get it back. And with the Sparring Regimen Bookworm, I mean, we're still a favorite, barring the 2 unknown cards. Even though they had that amazing sweep my board and save their creature, unless, like, their cards deal with Bookworm, I still like my chances here. Well, that sort of deals with Bookworm. I'm really regretting not killing the Quandrix Pledge Mage now. Oh, wow. Now they're actually going to win, I think. So now they got back this thing, so they can again play it, and then keep this and attack me for lethal. Jeez. Wait, they just cast it as a creature? Okay. I thought I was going to lose because they could always clear out my blockers again by playing Deadly Vanity again and then hitting me with Pledge Mage. Now I can block. Not that I have a profitable block on an 8/8, but this gets more interesting. So I have 4, 7, 8 mana, so I'll have 5 left to work with. So if I put the Bookworm back, I can play Symmetrist, but then I chump the Pledge Mage. Otherwise, I can play Symmetrist and Trudge and not put the Bookworm back. I'm going to need the Bookworm, so I'm going to put it back and then just see what we draw. Wow, can't believe I'm losing this game. I mean, I guess, you know, double sweeper will do that, or at least sweep the opponent's board, save your best creature is pretty busted at 8 mana. That's the kind of card I'm going to board negate in against. So yeah, not looking good. If I brick next turn, I guess I'm just dead. But maybe if they don't have anything, we're not 0%. But either way, I'm going to board a negate now because we saw this card, which is 8 mana sorcery, destroy all your opponent's creatures. Okay, and trample should make this lethal. Yep. Wow, I wish I had just killed the Quandrix Pledge Mage. That might have actually cost me this game. Though I stand by it because I couldn't put them on that sweeper, and I never expected this to go that way. But yeah, I do want negate against them. They're like a spells late game deck. Plus they have that sweeper. Certainly don't want the expels and stuff, even though their creatures are big. Like, dramatic finale I might want because of the sweeper. Because it's good protection against that, and that card can be really hard to beat. Right? If they sweep the board, it's destroy that card. And then I can get creature planeswalker, destroy all other creatures or planeswalkers, then I can get all the tokens and not die. So that's in consideration. My deck is not fast or good at closing, so something like that 8-mana sweeper is pretty scary for me. And then do I have anything bad against them? They're just like a grindy, rampy control deck, same as me. So I don't need any stuff that stops early attackers. Burying Books could come out, but it's a great card, obviously. My deck's kind of built for this. Dina could come out. It's not really a great threat. I don't really care about pinging them, and it's a better early blocker than attacker. Whereas Amplimancer is a good attacker in the late game. And I'm not that worried about hitting my 2-drop. Did we see spot removal? Snakeskin Veil is a good card in this format, but just one Mage Hunter's Onslaught, not much. So these aren't coming out almost for sure. Snakeskin Veil could come out. Maybe I can't take a land out. I'm already at 16, even if I'm going to choose to draw. Yeah, it's going to be a tough last board out, I think. I mean, I'm not going to be under pressure, so I don't mind Dramatic Finale's casting cost nearly as much. And it is good protection against that one sweeper, which is their best card. But I do have Negate now, as well as Agonizing Remorse, so I have 2 clean answers to it. Yeah, I don't think I want a 4-mana 3/3 lifelinker in this matchup. Again, I don't see much aggression out of them. Okay, I'm going to draw. Again, we're both like 3-color control decks, not much aggression. Hopefully I won't get punished. I'm going to keep. It's unfortunate, but I don't think you can really mull this on the draw with 3 lands. I have access to Letter of Acceptance, and there's only 4 basic forests left in the deck. Pretty much every other land casts things. Also, they're not an aggro deck. Also, this is a double green 4-drop, not a black 1-drop. So if we draw any land, we have 2 green 4-drops to cast. Phew. It's like, not like this deck, not like this. I might lose. I mean, Juan Manuel's deck here is quite good. But at least let me cast my cards. I missed turn 2 Fanatic, but okay, whatever. So we really want to play Lisette now with 5 mana so we can protect it with Snakeskin Veil. So I think this turn is Master Symmetrist. No real choices. Attack for 4, of course. They can hit back for 2, or they can trade. Trudge recurs. And if the counters go on the wall, I'm not like super unhappy about that. And then, like I said, we're going to play Symmetrist first, because next turn we can play Lisette and leave Snakeskin Veil up. I have a decent amount of life gain in this deck. I mean, we can trigger it with the Fanatic, even if the Fanatic is just a chump attacker. We can trigger it with the Bookworm if we have 9 mana. It's 1 to activate, so that doesn't come into play that often, but with an 8 mana card it can. But either way, it's not like they're attacking with little flyers. I would rather them kill Symmetrist than Lisette, moving towards the late game. So I don't want to trade the Symmetrist for the Spiteful Squad here, I don't think. Actually, maybe I do, because that could open the door for Lisette to attack. I guess it won't if the counters go on the wall. But the wall is about as good a place for those counters to go as I could ask for. Since it can't attack, it'll just be a 2/6 blocker, which doesn't stop Bookworm, or this long term necessarily. Yeah, I think I'm cool with this trade. I even get in 2 points of damage, but really it's that I think this is about the best I can do against Spiteful Squad here. I guess they could have infused with vitality. It's not like great. Like maybe I shouldn't attack to play around that, but like, yeah, again, this Master Symmetrist is not stopping flyers. It's not doing anything that important. Like I'm not unhappy to like, you know, trade it for a trick in theory. Okay, no real choices now. We clearly can't, like, attack profitably. Well, actually, I shouldn't say that. Whoa, I just drew Infused with Vitality. I forgot about that. So if I attack and they block with the wall, if I Infuse, but they'll sack the wall, get something else, I don't really want to use Infuse that way. If their mana was tapped, I'd attack, because then they couldn't sack the wall. Or, like, you know, I go to Infuse and they kill my creature in response or something. So if they tap out, we'll consider an attack. But on board right now, I don't see it. Okay, so we're definitely going to save it. The only question is with which. Infuse is the more expensive one, but we'd also gain 2 when this resolves, which means we get to trigger Lisette, pumping these. Of course, then Lisette dies and comes back. So the Fanatic will stay pumped. If I Snakeskin Veil, I don't get to pump anything. I think I'd rather use Infuse. It's pretty close. Ultimately, I think I'm settling on using the more expensive one, because I might be able to play Bookworm with 1 open or something like that. But overall, I think it's a pretty close play. I also think the +1/+1 counter on the Leech Fanatic is important, because that means it can attack into the 2/6 Overgrown Arch. Oh, I get Valentine? I didn't realize that. Oh, wow, I might have just punted this game if I lose. Jeez, I thought I was going to get Lisette back. I didn't realize I was going to get Valentine. I would have definitely Snakeskin Veiled. That was a horrible play. The Valentine is way worse than Lisette. And I have a Leech Fanatic out. Yuck. Well, no real decisions now. I'll attack with the Fanatic. If they want to trade the Spiteful Squad for it, I'll get my life. I'll pay the mana from Valentine's ability, whatever. If it bounces with the wall, I get my 3 life. But yeah, no, that was bad. I think my thought process was correct, like, assuming I would have gotten Lisette back, because the +1/+1 counter on the Leech Fanatic allows it to attack profitably here into the Overgrown Arch. But, yeah, if I knew I was going to get Valentine back, I would never have done that. I would have Snakeskin Veiled for sure. So, hopefully, I learned that here, and I win this match anyway. I mean, we're in Game 3. This is round 3, we're 2-0 in Game 3. If I lose this match, it was a winnable match. I had some tough choices at the end of Game 2, which didn't work out. I'm not sure if they were right or wrong. And then this game, I think I've played optimally, except that was a really bad punt. Okay, clearly not going to block. I'm at 25. So that's kind of not a card I can cast. I can't attack with the Fanatic, but again, I'm 1 land away from Bookworm, so we just got to chill. If I cast Bookworm, as long as they can't exile it, things are looking okay. I mean, even if they play that sweeper, it's not like they have some giant creature out this time. I guess Valentine is kind of annoying for them. Whenever, like, their creatures die, I can exile them. That might even shut off Spiteful Squad. It's still horrible. I wish this was Lisette, but it's not like Valentine does nothing in a long, grindy matchup. Okay, well, I guess we'll get to find out. I'm going to block with the Fanatic here. I mean, I don't care about the Fanatic anymore now that Lisette's gone. Worst case scenario, they still get the Spiteful Squad counters. But I think they might not. Gets exiled instead, and then I pay the 2. So basically, I trade Leech Fanatic for Spiteful Squad, and I get a past. And I shut off that scary ability, so I'm pretty happy with that. Okay, and there's the land for Bookworm. I can't wait for land 9, I don't think. There's not that much that exiles. There's Rise of Exodus, but we haven't even seen that. Oh, they could sack the wall and go get the lesson that exiles, but yeah, again, if they do that, I draw another card and the wall is gone. I'm not saying, like, maybe I shouldn't wait for one since they have the Overgrown Arch out, but if if they sack that 2/6 wall, I get through that lesson. Like I said, I get another card off the lesson. My deck's built for the late game. It's not like I need the Bookworm to close or something. Still get the card in the 3 life. I think this play is right. I don't think it's right to just wait for one more land. I'll just protect my next good threat. So I do have to decide which of those to Rise of Exodus. I think it's Mia, just because I have a lot of removal. How much mana do I have? 8, 9. So I can go Rise, get Environmental, play it for the Plains. Oh no, I'm not playing a Plains, so I can't do that. I can play it for the Island, but I'm probably better off just getting Fractal Summoning, because I can make a giant Fractal Summoning, and then I can leave one up to protect that. They already can't block the Lifelink Menacer, so I get to connect with that regardless. I really don't even like Rising because they get to draw a card, but I have to do it because it's going to get me either Island for Burying Books or Fractal Summoning. It either gets me Environmental Sciences to get the Island, or it gets me Fractal Summoning. I think Fractal Summoning's better. So I think we just want to hit Mia here. They get their 1 card, we get our Fractal Summoning, then we can hit them for 2, gain 1, move about our business. This is a great game 3, win or lose. I'm really still tilted about the Lisette situation. But obviously my hand's pretty good now. Okay, I'm not going to Snakeskin Veil that. I don't really care about that creature very much. I just want to I would much rather be able to protect Fractal Summoning. I am going to have to kind of telegraph it by leaving 1 green open on an X spell, but I think that's well worth it. What are they going to do with that information? Not play it? Okay. So we need to leave 1 forest open. Fractal Summoning for 6. Looks good. Snakeskin Veil to protect it. Looks excellent. That Sweeper isn't super scary right now. I mean, they kill my board and theirs, keep 1/4/4 with me at 18. Obviously, if the game went on forever, I would lose, but, you know, hopefully I would draw a creature to be able to Devouring Tendrils it. Or, you know, any spell, basically, that does anything, or a blue or a white source. Well, that's not great, as in I drop shields if they want to kill the 6/6 now. Hopefully they don't have the ability to do that at least this turn. Like, if I untap, at least I can Devouring Tendrils away a 4 power, and then if they have the removal, I'm under a little less pressure. I'd really like to draw, like, a white source for Regimen. I would have learned for Environmental Sciences if I played the Plains to cast Regimen, because then I get to learn again and get the Summoning. Unfortunately, I don't have a Plains in my deck. I do have 5 white sources, though, and there's one of them. So now I can filter and play the Regimen. And then what am I learning for? Environmental Sciences for a blue, but I don't need that anymore. I can bury in books off the Hall of Oracles as well. So I guess just Pest Summoning, probably. Just to have, like, Post-Sweeper or something in my hand. I can't use the Draw Card lesson. I mean, I could use the silly, like, Scry 2 Draw 1 lesson. But I think I'd rather just have a Pest Summoning. If I attack, this could be a 7/7. They'll double block. I need to have Burying Books up before I'm attacking. So I think this turn is just cast this. Probably getting Pest Summoning, not attacking, but we'll see. No, I don't want to make something like a 4/4 once. I don't have 2 red, or I might consider that. So, yes. Pest Summoning for Post-Sweeper. I'm not going to play it now. It's pretty unlikely they're going to be able to kill my 6/6 aside from the Sweeper because I have Snakeskin Veil. I might play it next turn because then I can trigger this if I want that. But ultimately, I'm mostly just holding it. Oh, unfortunately, I can't do anything about that either. Still a very positive exchange as I'm up a Pest Summoning and that removal's gone, but Regimen is one of my better cards. I wonder if there's any way they're going to run me out of good threats. Like, with Bookworm and Regimen gone and Fractal Summoning as a 6/6, like, are they going to deck me or something? I mean, probably not, but... And they have that sweeper, but I can draw a negate. Okay, so for now, can I attack? Amplimancer's big enough to block and trade, but I can't double pump. I could Pest Summoning, and then I get the... You know, if I pump up this Amplimancer, it's going to be pretty strong. I'd really like to find that negate to protect me from that sweeper before I super overcommit, though. Kind of think I want to just start attacking with only Amplimancer. If I double it twice, it's an 8/8. It kills 2 big creatures. That's good enough. I don't even think I need to Pest Summoning to get a counter on it. Oh, actually, I can send the 6/6 once I can bury in books. So I think I just only have to chill for like 1 turn here. And we can always decide to bury in books end of their turn on like the Symmetrist or something like that. Or we can use it in a double block. So that's pretty strong. So I think the plan... Maybe I should have attacked with the 6/6. Maybe I'm up enough. But I don't want to cast Pest Summoning because they do have access to that sweeper. If I hit my negate, then I can just dump everything out and I have negate. If not, this turn I will be attacking. I can attack with like just the 6/6. If they double block, I get them. And then I can have the Amplimancer pump to protect me on defense, and I don't even have to use it. Just the ability to threaten it. So I have 5, 10 mana, 11. So pump, and veil. Or I can like bury in books, pump, and veil. So I guess it's better to send the 8/8 than the 6/6. Oh no, it's only a 4/4. If they double block it, I can't bury in books and pump. I mean, I can, but I'd still just trade. So it's better to send the 6/6. From 10 minutes in the future, I see the punt count thing flooding and stuff. I assume it's the Lisette scenario. Yep. I'm not happy about that one. I'm still going to hold on to the Pest Summoning for post sweepers, potentially. I also just don't think I need the 1/1s. If they attack, I can double pump Amplimancer. If they have removal, I have Snakeskin Veil. So. Their board's going to collapse pretty quickly here. Now, don't get me wrong, they're scrying. They're going to find removal blockers or that sweeper, but I think I can grind through it, and I think their board's going to collapse pretty quickly. Like, pretty soon I'll just attack both, because they'll have to block or they'll be dead. And then I still have a 1/1 to jump with. I know they have Symmetrist, but if they don't block with that, if they keep that around, they're losing the bigger creatures. It's whatever. I see no reason to bury in books end of turn here. That's just saving a creature of theirs for them if they have the sweeper. Five, 9, 11. Yeah, there's no reason to do it end of turn. So now I'm definitely sending the 6/6. Am I sending both? I don't think so. If they do play their sweeper, like next turn, I can bury in books whichever creature they leave out. I can also bury in books my own Amplimancer. It's a pretty good threat now. So if they make this triple block, assuming the card in their hand is nothing, which it probably isn't, I could go for Snakeskin Veil and bury in books for the super blowout, but I'm not sure it's really worth the risk of doing that. Like, I can also just kill 2 creatures. That seems fine, right? And then the Amplimancer's big enough to start attacking. Burying Books alone doesn't save me here, but Burying Books and Snakeskin does, but that just seems unnecessarily risky. This is like a good trade for me. So we can make this trade, see what they're going to do. If it's spot removal, we've got Veil. If it's blockers, we got Burying Books. If it's the sweeper, whatever. We're not overcommitted. We don't really have big things for post-sweeper unless we Burying Books our own Amplimancer, but I think there's plenty left in my library, and I can pump all my stuff with all these spells in the land. If they end up doing nothing here but passing the turn, I'm going to Burying Books the Symmetrist end of turn. Because then I can just like attack and double pump, and then if they want to sweep the board next turn, fine. I'll just untap and play things on the play. Let's say they attack and I block and double pump. Can I have Burying Books up? Because they might have Infused with Vitality. They played that in game 1. Oh, they used it earlier, so unless they have 2, they're not going to have another one. 11... Okay, so now, like I said, I think end of turn I'm going to Burying Books. I recognize I miss a counter, but I think that's okay. That sweeper leaves 1 creature in play, so it's not, now that they're down to 1 creature, Burying Books is like somewhat effective against it. And then I don't really even want to add to the board. I think this is just pretty clearly double pump and pass. They can't mess me up with removal because I have the 11th mana for the Snakeskin Veil. Oops, it wants to leave Hall up. Let's not do that. I'll Telegraph the Veil. I don't care. This is nice, because now if they play the sweeper, they're not killing much. Next turn, I'll just rebuild, you know, Pest Summoning, Sequence, pump something. If they don't play the sweeper, then they have to be able to deal with this Amplimancer. It's pretty much a lethal threat. I mean, it is a lethal threat. And I have the Snakeskin Veil, so they can't rely on spot removal. And if they play like a small Death Toucher or something, I have Mage Duel. So my angles are pretty well covered at this point. Deadly Brew, great card, not as great when I have a Pestisac as it was last game. Hey, negate, that pretty much locks the win. But right now, if I double pump, they're dead unless they have something that stops it through a Snakeskin Veil, which seems unlikely, so I'm just going to go for it, I think. If I didn't have the Veil, I might not. I might sit on the negate and deal them 4 and whatever. But with the Snakeskin Veil, I don't see how I don't go for it. It's not like I'm going to lose on the backswing if they have it, and there's not much they could have. I'm not saying nothing exists, but we're past flashing and blockers. If they try and kill it, I've got Snakeskin Veil. I mean, they have to have 2 things or life gain or something. And, of course, if they do, like I said, it's not like I lose. Do they have the second thing to prolong this game? I mean, you know, they could win, but it's not like I lose if they have it. If they play a second removal here, they untap, play Symmetrist. I get to untap, play Pest Summoning, Sequence, pump things. And then, you know, I'm up in life. I've got 4 cards in hand to their 4/4, etc. But if they don't have anything, they're just dead. Snakeskin Veil is hexproof, so it's not going to stop any of my targeting it. Well, it wouldn't stop a pump anyway. All right, we got the 3-0 anyway. Didn't play perfectly, but we did learn some lessons. I probably won't make that Lisette mistake again the rest of the run here. So that's a nice win to get. Learn the lesson the hard way. Hopefully it'll stick with us. And we advance to 3-0. Okay, round 4. Good hand. I mean, only 2 lands, and they could kill the emergent sequence land, but if they don't, that's already a 3rd land. Definitely going to get black. We already can play our blue cards off of Hall of Oracles. So the question is now, no reason to play the tap land. We have 2 2-drops, so we want to go 2-drop, and then we can go like tap land 2-drop. I think I want to emergent sequence though, because if let's see. Well, I could get the forest if I want now, because I did draw the Silverquill Campus. I could also get the island. Emergent sequence going to make it 2-2. For to make bigger than that, I'd have to like ramp a land in play. Not something I really do. Amplimancer is better in the late game. Sequence is better now. Yeah, I think this is Hall of Oracles, emergent sequence, and then I don't think it really matters which land I get, but I guess a green gives me any land to draw to play Lisette next turn. So I'm going to go get a green. Even though it looks like the one I need the least. I mean, they're not going to destroy my lands, and I have a black-white duel here. And then this can cast Burying Books if I want it to. I say they're not going to destroy my lands as they kill the land, but that one was a land creature. They're not going to kill my Silverquill Campus, hopefully. So, no real choices. Now I can't Lisette this turn. No ability to Mage Duel, but tap land in play. Amplimancer out. So far, so good. If they're not disrupting it, I can Mage Duel away the Blood Researcher. Although, if they have their black mana up, they could have Lash. They probably don't, and they probably just play it, but it is a common. Okay, well, now they don't have that up. We still have to decide between fighting or adding a 4/4 to the board, though. Probably better to just add Lisette to the board, right? Can always, if they don't deal with Lisette, then I can Mage Duel using Lisette, even if they grow the Blood Researcher a little. If they do deal with Lisette, then I can just Mage Duel the Blood Researcher next turn. So I'm going to attack, because I'm not planning on blocking with that. Let's see if they take it, and then just play Lisette. I'm not, like, scared of Expanded Anatomy here. Even if they grow the Blood Researcher, I can still kill it with Mage Duel. Okay, so now I want to take out the 5/5. I can do that with Mage Duel Lisette. I can't Tendrils also. Seems... Oh, I could also... You know what I could do? I could Tendrils and Mage Duel. For 1, if I want to fight 2 creatures. But I'm going to miss out on a bunch of, like ability to activate Lisette and this Hall of Oracles. I can go, like, Mage Duel, Tendrils, activate Lisette. Oh, that's pretty good. Still have another Mage Duel. Yeah, that's about as good a turn as you could ask for, I think. So we need to Tendrils first, then, which is fine. This is colorless to activate, right? Yes. So let's just go ahead and Tendrils. The small one. Pay the 1. And then Mage Duel the big one. Hit for 9. Clear your board. Still have an action-packed hand. +1/+1 counters on my creatures. That was a decent turn of Magic. Killed their 5 and 3 drop. 8 mana for 3 mana of mine. 1 for Mage Duel, 2 for Tendrils. Hit for 9 and buff both my creatures by 1. All with 4 mana. It's a pretty efficient turn of Magic. So if we could gain life, we could give our creatures trample. We can't gain life this turn, right? Oh, wait. I can play Poet's Quill for environmental sciences, play sciences, but I don't have a land to pay 1 when the sciences resolves, so I can't pay for Lisette. I can Mage Duel and use Hall of Oracles. So if I Mage Duel this up to a 4/5, taking out the 4/3, it's 1 damage away from death. If I pump it, it's then 2 damage away from death. Okay. They could, like, double block it. I could also Mage Duel using Lisette, and then they have no ability to kill either of my creatures, and then I just pump the smaller one. So that seems almost scripted for the turn. This doesn't develop as well as the Poet's Quill lines, but we don't really need to develop. We're way ahead. And then we just pump the smaller one, because this is a 6/3, so it can still attack profitably into 2 1/1s. If they have that Lash, yeah, they can finish off Lisette. It's not amazing, but I've got plenty more to do. If they don't have that Lash, then all they can do is chump. Not like they can learn for it or something. This game's starting to look pretty over. So if I Poet's Quill on the 4/4, I then have 2 5/5s threatening lethal, which means both have to be chump blocked. They can't triple block one because they would just die to the other. So that just seems... Oh, I can't play Poet's Quill and equip. I only have 2 black if I... Oh, but Sparring Regiment accomplishes the same thing. I can then pump the Amplimancer, and then I have 2 5/5s. So I think if I can build a second 5/5 here, this is almost automatically right. We'll go get environmental sciences, because we do want to develop eventually. But now, like, because the thing is, getting the second 5/5 is huge, because that takes away their ability to triple block, right? If I send a 4/4 and a 5/5, they could theoretically triple block Lisette and then untap and kill the 4/4 or something. But now they can't take either of these, which means they both have to be blocked. So that means their turn is double chump block. And while Cayenne can stay out, who cares? What are they going to pay 5 and make a 0/0 or 1/1 or whatever? So, like, basically, if we can make a second 5/5, we force them to double chump, lose 2 creatures, take away any triple blocking, take away any taking 4 damage and going to 1, and just kill 2 creatures. So, I mean, Fractal Summoning for 3, okay, they're double chumping again, the game's over. Expanded Anatomy, that thing's not even big enough to block either of my creatures as a 4/4. I mean, I think this game is pretty much just over. If I gain life with the environmental sciences, I can then give everything trample, and then they're literally just dead. Lisette +1/+1, and trample. Okay, so what did we see? Black-green, just all the standard stuff. I mean, every card they played is good, but this is all just black-green creatures, basically. Negate, I mean, they have a Fractal Summoning, but we haven't seen, like, expensive spells, and it's off the splash. I like Negate a lot in this format. Like, I main it all the time in blue decks. Off the splash, I still like it, but only if there's, like, late-game powerful stuff, because I won't always have a blue right away. They will be attacking me with all these creatures. I could do the Expel thing against them. I think that might be right. They're like a black-green creature deck, right? Like, all of these cards get expelled nicely. So I think on the draw against them, I'm going to blue out, Expels in. I think my late game, from what I saw, I mean, I didn't see their whole deck, of course, but my late game will greatly trump theirs from what I saw. And they have a bunch of creatures they need to be attacking with. But, like, good creatures. Creatures that grow, like that Menace creature that grows whenever you gain life and stuff like that. And then the main reason to do this, one of them, is it lets us switch the island for planes. And then I think we probably also switch the 1 forest for a swamp. I know I didn't do that last time, but I think it's probably correct. This time I'll be under more pressure, so it's more important I can cast Finale earlier. And then we have to board out, 2 cards? Pledge Mage looks kind of medium. I mean, it does grow a lot. Amplimancer, not going to be the best if we're on the defensive against like an aggro deck. Snakeskin Veil, we didn't see much, but we saw an Eliminate. Presumably they have more removal. But I could take out Snakeskin Veil. Again, I mean, it's not great against one Eliminate. I don't necessarily want it in my hand on the draw against a deck that's going to be somewhat aggressive. They're not like hyper aggro or anything. It's more like they need to attack me than they're an aggro deck. And then I'll just take out 1 Pledge Mage. Yes, Boost. This will go on YouTube. It should. Okay, this hand looks good. Poet's Quill can get Environmental Sciences if we need it to, if we don't draw lands over our first couple draw steps. Plus we have cheap cards on the draw, pretty much all we could ask for. Forest and Swamp. Really nice draw there. Now I'm going to play the Amplimancer for sure. If I hadn't drawn a land this turn, I would have probably played Poet's Quill for Environmental Sciences. I guess one upside of playing Poet's Quill is I could have stranded the Eliminate mana. I saw Eliminate last game, but also I don't really care if they eliminate my 2/2 right now. I'm not going to let them start activating that, so this turn is now Putrefy. Turn 3 Kian, kill on sight. Not going to let them tap and draw, tap and draw. I could Expel it, but they wouldn't necessarily do it on their turn if they have a land, and then I'd strand my mana, and then I'd have to do it on my turn. It's just not a good situation. So the most important thing for me moving forward is making land drops. I can Expel that, but I can do it next turn. So I think here I'm going to Poet's Quill for Environmental Sciences. I'm not like under a ton of pressure. I want the ability to Environmental Sciences and then play a 2-drop if I don't draw a land. If I draw a Forest, I'll probably just play Master Symmetrist. And like I can Expel that whenever. So yeah, developing is more important than expelling that now. So we're going to go get a Forest. So that means we tap like this. Looking good. I mean, obviously, they still have their cards, but 5 cards to 2, Poet's Quill in play, feeling pretty good. I mean, Regiment and Poet's Quill are really hard to deal with. That's what makes them such good rares and sealed. It's not that they're so overpowered, it's that there's not a lot of ways to kill artifacts and enchantments, but then even if they are, you already learned, so you're at a distinct advantage. I actually hate that. I hate when they print, like, powerful cards with comes into play or leaves play abilities. Like, the way I see the balance of Magic is, like, powerful cards cost more. So if your opponent saves the removal, they answer them in net mana. If your opponent doesn't have the removal or didn't save it, then your powerful card gets to exert its power. So when the powerful cards get to learn when they come into play, that's a big problem, because then even if the opponent has the removal, you still got an advantage. I actually hate that design, like when they do it that way. Okay, so we can Expel here and Mage's Duel, but nothing to Mage's Duel if we Expel the tapped creature. Think if I put the Poet's Quill on, I'm a 2/4. Then Mage's Duel, I'm a 3/5. Seems fine. They can attack me back, and then I can just Expel on my next turn or something like that. It's not like, actually, I'll just Expel the 5/5 first. Like, they're going to attack. If they strand my mana, so be it. I'm under no pressure. Like, who cares? Like, they're probably not going to play around Expel off the splash that they didn't even see in Game 1. But even if they did, like, they would strand my mana, but this is a low-pressure game. If they play around the Expel, they're not dealing me any damage. And then I just untap next turn and cast whatever, so. Okay. Is there more? I mean, that wasn't great for me. It wasn't, like, horrible, but I guess there is more. So now, what do we want to do? That went about as poorly as possible. Not that we're in bad shape or anything. I think the 4/4 just needs to come out because this can fight the Pledge Mage and the Blood Researcher. Assuming they don't draw some like ridiculous way to pump their team or removal this turn, it's fine. And even if they draw removal this turn, if they kill the Symmetrist, I sack it to the Dina, and then the Dina is big enough to block the Pledge Mage. I mean, it's bad for me, but like I can still block the Pledge Mage. If they kill the Dina, am I just dead? How do they top deck Mage Hunter's Onslaught? Sacrifice another creature, so I can't sack it, so I can't fizzle the Onslaught. Well, so I don't really have any choices. Wow, how did I lose this game? I mean, that was quite a sequence of cards. 5, 10, and I have to chump to not be dead. If I block a 1/1, I'm dead. Brutal. Well, I lost the unlosable game. I did not think I could lose this game, but play this, sack it, uses all my mana. I don't think I can do anything now. So again, though, they are the aggro deck. Expel isn't great against that sack card, but I think Expel should perform pretty well against them. I think I like the white over the blue against them. Defend the Campus maybe wants to come in, too. Doesn't kill Kian. Does kill those two. I think this is probably right. Wow, do I want to play or draw? I mean, they're kind of aggro, not really that aggro. I think I want to draw with all these expels. And a 3-color deck that's never looking to attack. I would play, against a lot of decks, but after I board into the expel version, I think I'm more interested in having extra cards in my hand, and I'm not interested in pressuring the opponent. Yeah, Lisette's still better. There's some value in playing this here turn 1. Like, I can go turn 2 Dina and trigger it immediately and stuff like that. Also, Valentine might have value against the opponent. But, I mean, I have the Leech Fanatic. I've got plenty of ways to trigger life gain in this deck. I think Lisette's still just a much better card. Okay, so looks like play Dina and attack. I mean, I know they get to attack back, but mine has lifelink and theirs doesn't. So I'm basically undoing that thing's whole attack. With the 2 life I'm gaining, it's hitting back for 3. Okay, whatever, no big deal. Didn't really have big plans for Dina. Master Symmetrist stops their board, so no decisions this turn. Hopefully they don't untap a Mage Onslaught the Symmetrist, but it won't lethal me this time if they do. And then next turn I can play Lisette, attack with the Fanatic, and trigger the Lisette, so... Even if they do go, like, kill Symmetrist, hit you for 5, next turn I get to play Lisette, and then trigger Lisette, so that's pretty good. Okay, so the opposite happened. They didn't play land or cast anything or attack. When this dies, they gain 4. I don't care about that. When this dies, they learn, though. That can get them environmental sciences or something. I think I'm just going to play Lisette and pass. Maybe I attack with the Fanatic, but I really don't even want to let them trigger the Eye Twitch. I really want to play the Lisette on a turn where I can attack. So if I putrefy the Blex, the Eye Twitch goes to a 1/1, but the problem is they have tricks. Like, they missed a land drop, they have 5 cards in hand, they could have the sack a creature to make all the passes thing, they could have, but what they can't really have is a removal spell they can cast right now. I mean, Eliminate for the Fanatic. No, they already played Eliminate. Yeah, I'm just going to play Lisette. I'm just going to further get ahead, not let them use their mana, not let them learn for environmental sciences or something, not let them play their trick. If they tap out to cast something, the game's over, unless they kill Lisette. If they kill Lisette, then I'll have a good attack next turn. So yeah, this gives them the opportunity to kill Lisette if they draw a land and are holding Mage Hunter's Onslaught. But like, for example, now there's so much less they can do, right? Now I have access to Putrefy and Lisette's ability. Can I just attack with everything? Unless they have Snakeskin Veil, I kill Blex. And we didn't see Snakeskin Veil. We saw, like, the other black-green tricks, I think. If I kill Blex, so they can sack to pump Dina, though. So I don't want to send Lisette. But I think I can send Leech Fanatic and Symmetrist. And I think there's basically no way it can work out badly, right? Can I send Lisette too? They sack the Blex to the Dina, and then I don't gain the life to pump it until after. No, yeah, so I can't do that, right? Well, maybe I can. What are they going to put in front of Lisette in the first place, though? Because I don't have to putrefy until they make me. If they double block Lisette, they'd be losing both. I'm not sure if I can send... I'm going to attack here. I'm just not sure if I send all three or if I send Symmetrist and Fanatic. Will Lisette die? Is there any way? What can they do? They double block Symmetrist, then there's no blocker on Lisette. Yeah, I don't think they can put Dina on Lisette. I don't think there's a way that happens. If they double block Lisette, and then I putrefy Blex, they can sack it to Dina, but Dina's not blocking Lisette. I think I can send all three. It's going to be interesting. I mean, assuming they don't have a one-mana trick other than sacking something to pump Dina, I think this works. They might blow me out if they have Snakeskin Veil or something. I mean, but I can't particularly put them on that. It's game 3. We saw plenty of tricks. I don't think I saw Snakeskin Veil. Okay, this was a little unexpected. So let me see what my options are. If I kill Blex, they sack it to Dina, they still kill Lisette. If I kill Dina, then I just have a 4/4 Lisette that eats a 3/2 and lives. So I just kill Dina, I guess. They get to trade off with the lifelinker, but I'll get the trigger once and I'll have 2 5/5s out. Let's say they have Snakeskin Veil. I'd rather kill Blex than Dina, so I'm going to put the Blex first. And then I'm going to go for Putrefy on Dina. Professor's Warning functions similarly to Snakeskin Veil. Means there's still a game. It's not horrendous for me or anything, but it's not good. It means there's definitely a game. But Dina itself sitting in play is doing almost nothing, and Blex is gone, which I'm pretty happy about. But obviously I do lose Lisette this way, so it wasn't fantastic for me. Kind of funny that my hand is double expel, but I was on the offensive. But I don't have the white source, but I did board in the plains, so now I have like a million, so hopefully we'll draw one. And then we'll see if I was right or wrong with how I sideboarded, basically, because now I can go into expel mode and then beat them in the late game, or I could lose to their late game if they have better late game than me. So since we did get the white source and we're not screwed now, we basically can find out if the plan was solid or not. Oh, they can sack that to Dina. So I think I'm going to discard Bookworm because these expels are just good removal. And I already have the 3 to put it back. I know this ensures I can't cast it next turn. But I'm going to expel now and then put the Bookworm back and not take a hit for 8. I know I could scry to have gotten it one turn earlier, but I still need the land. And like I said, I'd kind of rather draw it naturally. Like, bottoming it is kind of like, whatever. Like, bottoming spells to get the land that I'll probably get soon anyway. But it looks like these expels worked out pretty well. So I can't play that to get the land, or I lose the Bookworm. But I will be able to scry, and it grows the Pledge Mage. So I'll have 23 cards in my deck. If I draw the Bookworm next turn, what am I doing next turn? Sequence plus scry. I mean, I know they have necrotic fumes to deal with the bookworm. I think I might just sequence and start scrying. I have a lot of really good draws. All my learn cards can get fractal summoning. Also, I might just find the bookworm again anyway. I'm at 10. This is so painful. I just wanted to draw a land so I could bookworm next turn. But I can't bookworm next turn right now. So I think this is the right play. And I'm not going to trade 4 for 2. Just going to chill. My deck's built for this. If I didn't have the Scry land, I'd be worried about Super Flood. But I do, so hopefully I'll either find that bookworm or just like any decent learn spell or any removal spell. I mean, pretty much anything good. Okay, we obviously don't want that. And of course, we draw 2 straight lands, because why wouldn't we? So we'll probably find a way to lose now. Don't know if they're going to have a trick or not, but I'm happy with this double block. I drew a land, so I don't need land 8 for bookworm. And really, I'm just chumping with a 1/1 if they play like a trick or removal that would have killed Pledge Mage anyway. It's pretty good. I mean, the regimen itself is not great right now, but because it has learn, it's fine. Then we can go get pest summoning, I think. I think I'd rather have 2 pests than 1/3/3 fractal on this board, especially now that I have the regimen and can grow them. Otherwise, what would I get? Environmentals? No. Scry 2, draw 1? No. Yeah, this is just a clear pest summoning, I think. Sure. I mean, it's good because it also drains me. That's kind of a problem. I don't really care how much life they gain. I'm actually glad they spent a card to gain 10, but it did also drain me. But it's not threatening lethal here. But I can't go to 1, or then I might die to the Witherbloom Apprentice. But I can go to 3, right? So I don't need to chump that. I still might die to the Witherbloom Apprentice. So if they pump it, I mean, there's no reason to assume they can play 3 spells next turn. I'm attacking with 1 pest and pumping it, seeing what I draw. I think I can go to 3. Do I scry upkeep? No, because I might draw a card that costs more than 3 mana. Got 8 lands in play, a 9th in the yard. So there's 7 left in the deck, 6 left in the deck. Hopefully we don't draw lands. That's a good draw. That's a really good draw. So now, this turn it's going on a pest. I'm gaining 3. Pumping it and attacking. Do I want environmental sciences just for more life? Nah, I just want fractal summoning. Even if I can't cast it this turn, next turn that's just a huge fractal summoning. This turn, I could play it for 4. That is big enough. Maybe I just play it for 4. No, then I miss out on all the Poet's Quill life, which I need pretty badly. So I think this turn we Poet's Quill. Just like attack. I could attack with both and then pump so that I had like 2 2/2s, but I would gain 1 less point of life to deal like 1 more damage, and that doesn't interest me right now. Like, I've got Poet's Quill going and Sparring Regimen going, so my goal now is to not die. The opponent's halfway through their deck, and they've only drawn 5 lands and all spells, which is like the only reason this is even a game. So again, I think I can take it as long as I can't accidentally die. They can put me to 2, but I'll gain a bunch of life right back with Poet's Quill and Regimen. Is there any way they can kill me? If they play a single card from their hand, they can't activate it. Is there any way they can +4 it here? Every spell does 1 to me. Big play would lethal me if I take it. It's unlikely, but they're holding all spells because they haven't been playing lands forever. I think I'm just going to double block. Actually, you know what? I'll just block with 1 of these. Then I get to attack with the other one. Nah, it's better to double block, because it still ties their turn, and then I'll Fractal Summoning. I don't want to run out of threats when I have Sparring Regimen Poet's Quill, but, like, I have a Scry land. This kills the Amplimancer. Like, I think this almost certainly is correct. Well, it's not as good against Infuse. Maybe I should have blocked with just the 3/3. Not 100%. I mean, don't get me wrong, that wasn't that bad for me. It killed 2 pests. But one of the only ways they can lose is running mana threats. Maybe I should have blocked with just 1 3/3. I'm not sure. Okay, so now Fractal Summoning for Infinite almost seems like just no decisions. If they sack either of their creatures to kill it, so be it. Take 2, I'm at 8. Take 1, I'm at 7. I shouldn't die in 2. I should be able to play the Trudge next turn, right? The only reason I consider playing the Trudge is that it comes into play on tapped. So, I mean tapped. So if I die in 2, that's the reason to play the Trudge. Because I can play the Trudge, I can Poet's Quill it, and then... Or I can play the Trudge and actually just Scry, and then if they don't kill it, I can Poet's Quill next turn. Maybe that's better, actually. Because Fractal Summoning comes into play on tapped, and if I get to attack with the Trudge, it's going to be a 6-power lifelinker. Yeah, I actually think that's right. I'm just going to play the Trudge and Scry. Actually, you know what? Maybe I'm still being too greedy. Maybe I'm just summoning for 3. This is only a 4/4. What am I afraid of? Am I being too greedy? Should I summoning for 3 or should I Scry? Yeah, I think I'm just going to summoning for 3. I don't know what I'm afraid of. If I draw a land now this turn, I can spend my mana and Scry and ensure that I find things for next turn. I don't think I need more power. I think Regiment and Quill will carry me. I think I just need to not run out of threats and die. I need to not have my life total accidentally hit 0 through all this grinding, and I need to not end up threatless. But as long as I have creatures out to grow, I think I'll be fine. It's a heck of a game 3. So if that's the play, I might Scry Upkeep. I need 2 mana for Poet's Quill. Yeah. So I just want to ensure that I draw spells. Now that I'm not that worried about dying accidentally and the game's going to go long. Even though that's a decent land, I just want creatures. With Sparring Regiment and Poet's Quill, like every creature represents like a lethal threat. Poet's Quill looks better than Mage's Duel to me here. Hopefully they don't have anything, but even if they do, I get another 5 life. I'm at 14. Should hopefully be able to buy me enough time. There's not a lot they could have. They could have another Infuse. Big play would let them trade, which I'd be totally cool with, of course. Okay, again, we have enough mana to Mage Duel already, so I'm certainly going to Scry. Now, as the life total goes up, all I want to do is not draw lands. No need to Mage's Duel that, I don't think. Remember, even if they kill this creature, like, I just move the Poet's Quill up over the Amplimancer and then Regiment it. Like, every threat I have now is basically just, like, a lethal threat. So now that we're gaining all this life, it becomes really hard for us to die. They have to run us out of threats to kill us, and then if they do that, we'll just Scry and we have tons of time. And they have to draw lands at some point, right? They now have 16 cards left in their deck, and they only have 6 lands. Maybe they only played 9 lands, figuring they'll win the long game, I don't know. But assuming they're playing 16 or 17 like most people, they gotta draw them at some point. There's literally 12 spells in their yard. Oops, I missed the upkeep Scry. Oh, no, it was right this time because of Amplimancer. So let's Poet's Quill. And then I'm just going to attack. No reason to think they can give a Death Touch again. That would be 3rd Infuse. Maybe they have it. Okay, I'm not going to pump for extra life now. 4 is enough. That's not surprising. My creature doesn't have trample. No big deal. Just ship the turn. Scry up more threats. Looking good. Well, there's more removal, but we're not really under pressure anymore. So, again, I mean, every threat we play is basically a lethal threat now. We gained all that life from Poet's Quill. Just what we wanted to see after all our cards are gone. So that helps us if they kill more things, but yeah, we probably top that, right? We're at 17. We're not really under pressure. Just play. Do I have enough mana to play that in Scry? Yes. Okay. Not a great draw, not a horrible draw, but we can take 2. That's pretty irrelevant. Scry, and then if they kill our next creature, it'll leave 1 behind. Again, if the only way they're going to beat me is running me out of threats, then if I can afford to top this finale, I probably want to, even though it's super medium right now. So there's the opponent's threat. And that land doesn't help us. Should I scry again? Upkeep. I have, what, 1 Expel left I can't cast. If I do... the Bookworm... 3 lands on the bottom already, plus 1 in the yard is 4. Plus I have how many in play? 9. So that's 13. So I'm only 3 out of 12 to draw land. I know my library says 15, but we're going to ignore the bottom 3 cards. So I'm basically 25% to draw land. And I'm 1 in 12 to draw Bookworm, 1 in 12 to draw Expel. So I don't think I scry Upkeep. And of course we draw the land. Could have already told you that was going to happen. Hopefully they're out of gas, and the next turn we'll play a creature, equip it with Poet's Quill, and Mage Duel it. This will be an ugly one to lose. So that's good enough to top. I mean, lifelink, you can't have double lifelink, but that does work here. We can Poet's Quill it, and then we can Mage Duel the 4/5 away. We're not big enough to deal with the 7/7 yet, but the 5 life makes us okay. Assuming they don't... If they attack with the 7/7, it's not there to block, then we attack back with the Lifelinker. So hopefully they brick this turn. I don't think we're going to be scrying Upkeep. There's 2 lands left in our deck, but there's like Expel and Bookworm in 11 cards. So Upkeep Scry doesn't really make a lot of sense anymore. Hey, there's Bookworm. That's a good draw. So I can't attack, though, into the 7/7. But Bookworm can. Oh, hello there. Well, now we can just Devouring Tendrils. They're 7/7 with ours. That should pretty much lock this game up. Bookworm into Devouring Tendrils. Woo! They scry to the top, but I don't know what it's going to be because both my threats now are amazing. Probably like Rise of Exodus or something to deal with Bookworm. Field Trip for the Annihilation thing, probably. If they have it. I might scry again Upkeep because the main reasons I weren't were Bookworm and Expel. And now that there's nothing for me to Expel and Bookworm's already in play, it probably becomes right to scry again during my Upkeep in case I hit one of those 2 lands. Remember, it says 11, but it's really 8-card library because the bottom 3 are lands. So now 2 of those 8 are lands. 1's an Expel, but they don't have any tapped creatures. So we don't really want to draw those lands. I wasn't scrying Upkeep because Bookworm and Expel, but neither of those are relevant anymore. Okay, so now if I attack with both, they can't kill either. Pump the smaller of the 2, even though it's... Well, no, maybe I pump the Trampler, actually. So which one I pump is a tough decision. I'm no longer worried about my life total. I think decking me is their most likely way to win. So I'm going to pump the Tramplers. So they have to deal with my threats, and I have Dramatic Finale out. I don't have a lot of threats left in my deck, but it's not like an 8/8 Bookworm is that easy to deal with. Rise of Exodus is common, but if they don't have that, there's really not much, and you can't chump it because it's trample and growing. Not worried about number of turns. I want my threats now, so I sack Letter of Acceptance. We did it. That was a good game 3, huh? That one we played against Juan 2 rounds ago was really tight, and this one was really tight. The one in between wasn't too tough. So what does that put us up to? 4-0, I think? We're getting a lot of this waiting for server lag. Normally I restart now. I'm just worried I won't get back in at all or something based on yesterday. Like, it's pretty... You see streamers do this all the time. We just close and reopen Arena immediately just to get rid of that lag. But I'm kind of worried I won't get back in at all, so I think I'm not going to do it. So someone say I don't know why he would ever block with 2 of them. Well, I'm not 100% what the right play was, but Amplimancer pumps to a 4/4. Quill gives lifelink, not death touch. So literally by putting the 1/1 on, assuming they're just pumping their Amplimancer, I trade the 1/1 for the Amplimancer, which is a good trade. Okay, next round. We don't have the spells in. We're back on the play because we might be up against another control deck or whatever. We don't really know. I mean, this isn't really a draw first format, but if I play against like a 4-color super slow deck or something too, I'm probably going to draw. But I actually do want to pressure people some games. Okay, so Snarl's the only one of these lands that can ever come into play tapped. I don't think I can need... I mean, I could need green next turn for Pledge Mage, but I wouldn't be able to cast it anyway. So I'm just going to play the Snarl tapped. No need to show a card. Although I guess if I do show it, then they'll think I have Eliminate or something, so maybe that would actually be a better bluff. Like, play the Snarl, show the Swamp, because I'm just going to play Swamp soon anyway. And then they're like, why did you show a Swamp from your hand rather than put it in play tapped? Maybe you have a 2-mana spell like Eliminate or Doomblade to cast. So maybe if you really want to mess with the opponent there, the right play is to actually show the Swamp. So Letter or Regimen. Think we just want to Regimen for Pest Summoning because every threat is a good one with Regimen out. We don't have any threats, and we're not ramping into anything. Seems like a pretty easy Pest Summoning, I think. Actually, wait. I have double red. Is there any shot I want to Illuminate just to discard all these lands because my hand is so bad? I'll just get that next time. Because, like, I'm not in a position to cast that in the next couple turns, and these pests are going to grow thanks to the Regimen. So for now, I'm going to put out the Pest Summoning, and then see what's up later. Plus, we have the Hall of Oracles, too, so... I do need to hold excess lands a little more if that comes up. I haven't been thinking of that double red card. Certainly not going to block. They could just play an instant or whatever, and even if they didn't have one, my creatures are going to grow. You know the deal. You've been watching Sparring Regimen work all day. If you've been with me here all day, fantastic card. Obviously, with the 10-minute delay and all that, and I haven't seen a lot of like subs and stuff, but I think people have been. I just scrolled through the like history and it showed a few. Thank you to everybody who subscribes, donates, spreads the word, supports my content. If you like what you see here, I do really appreciate it. Normally, I try and thank every subscriber, but I'm a little focused today and not actually staring at the chat and interacting with the chat constantly. Burnator, big play would be a big play for them. You're better than that. Okay, so we know they have something, because they literally didn't cast a 3-mana sorcery. I'm not too scared of anything. I mean, I'll spread out the Regimen counters. I think I just attack with 2 2/2s here, right? If they have removal, I'm not even going to Snakeskin Veil. I'd rather protect my Leech Fanatic or something. And then post-combat, it looks like Letter of Acceptance, Leech Fanatic. Okay. Not saying that play is wrong. They want to play their card. You can't bounce tokens. Don't want to bounce Regimen and let me learn again. But obviously, I'm happy with that. Now I need to play the Swamp. Again, I'm not like interested in any risky blocks. I mean, they're about to make a 4/4, but oh, they didn't. They didn't cast either thing, and they left their mana up again. Okay, well, I don't really have any choices. I'm going to attack with all three, and I'm going to pump the Leech Fanatic. I assume they're going to play like a removal on the Leech Fanatic, and this time I am going to Snakeskin Veil. And then I can use the Hall post-combat. Probably on one of the pests. Because that'll allow it to attack and get a fourth counter from the regimen. Which is kind of the magic number at the moment. Hey, we got a raid from Canister. Thanks for the raid, Canister. Appreciate the support. Hope you had a good day too. We're at that point where it's been long enough that someone could cache by now, so I don't know if a raid means that they were eliminated or they cached. Recast this. Use the Hall. And we can get our commons in play, paying for it with the ladder. So if they play this card, they can have a 5/5 and a 4/4. But the Leech Fanatic grows to a 5/5 thanks to the regimen, so I can still at least attack, trade it, and gain 5. And that's if they don't have anything. Flunk, okay. Pretty sure we're not at the Scry upkeep phase yet. Can always sack Letter of Acceptance, since I don't need that for mana at all at this point. Okay, so we have plenty of mana. We could Trudge and Scry, or we can Trudge and Sack. Sacking is so much cheaper, so I think I would rather Trudge and Scry. I'm going to actually pump up the same pest because I want to be able to keep attacking with that one, and I'm planning to chump block with the smaller one at some point, potentially. I'm not going to chump block the 6/6 this turn at 13. I don't think they're going to give it double strike or something. But given I may need to chump with this 2/2 pest later, and I want this pest to be able to attack profitably, I think it makes sense to actually not diversify the counters. That usually does make sense to do, but in this case I don't think it does. Okay, so like I said, let's Scry because it's so much more expensive than Sack. Still not going to Scry upkeep though because I want to be able to cast what I draw. Unless it's just another land, of course. Now we have unlimited mana to work with. Sack the Letter. Hopefully draw something good. Oh, it's a drop. So now, let's see. The 4/4 pest can attack. The 4/2 can attack, but we do have to not die. We have the 2/2 pest. Oh yeah, we're going to get to untap the Trudge as well, which is a great blocker because it recurs. So yeah. No, actually, the question is, can we send the 2/2 pest as well at that point? But probably not. We want the 2/2 pest, unless we're going to grow it, we want it to chump block or get involved in a double block on the 7/7. So I think this is pretty straightforward. I think, even though there's a lot going on, these are two bigger creatures. They both have profitable attacks. Pump the Trudge. If they trade the Witch for it, I'm cool with that. Trudge comes back, remember. Witch doesn't, and Witch is a really good card. They have plenty of spells. And then just cast our Amplimancer. Certainly not going to sandbag any lands, because with the Scries and all that, we could use near any amount of lands this game. But if they tap out pre-combat to grow the Pledge Mage, then I'll either chump it or know exactly what to double or triple block it with. If they don't, right now I can double block it. Those two cards are sorceries. If I'm going to chump it with the Pest, which I have to do, I'm certainly going to put the 5/3 on it as well. I'm not saying that they're not going to play something. They probably are. But I'm going to gain life when the Pest dies, and then I can get the Trudge back in my hand immediately. So, I mean, this is like not really a decision. Because I had to chump block it. So then I just put the Trudge on it. It's basically a free roll. Oh, wow. Well, that's going to get rid of the Trudge. So I can buy it back in response, but I'll have to discard it anyway. And then my graveyard gets exiled. So that actually does get rid of the Trudge. So that's a little annoying. It's a good draw, though. Alright, so we have 4, 6, 8 mana. So this turn we can use Rise, and we can use the Hall of Oracles. Probably have to Rise the 9/9, and then I can just attack with this as a 6/6. They're probably just going to chump it. What if I attack with this as a 5/5, 3/5/7? Neither of these kill a creature. Maybe I can attack with both. I mean, if I attack right now, the attacks are profitable, and I get to untap one. If they kill it, they'll win the game, but they have one unknown card. I don't think they're that likely to do that. I think I actually really want... And then these could both be lethal threats next turn. Kind of feeling attack with both here. And then post-combat, Rise the Pledge Mage. What am I getting with Rise for next turn? Don't know. I can get Environmental Sciences for 2 life. This is going to be really tight. They're going to cast spells. They're going to get chump blockers. I don't want to take a hit from the Sedgemoor Witch, so I think that's a reason not to send both. Okay. I think because of that, I'm going to send only the Pest. So it's not tapping the Hall of Oracles. I don't think it really matters, but you never know if they recur something. I probably don't want it to be Divide, I guess. I don't know. So we can get the draw 2. We can get Fractal Summoning for our own huge creature, which actually looks pretty good. I think that's what we need. And then I think I'm definitely going to pump the Amplimancer since it doubles. This is a tight game. I don't know if I'm going to win or lose. Assuming they don't have removal, they poke me for 2 in the air, they make a 1/1 token because of this witch, I wish I could remove this, and they make some 4/4-ish creature. But I get to keep attacking, playing bigger stuff. This giving my creatures pseudo-vigilance and growing them. So, this is a tight one. Like, if they don't have removal, they can't send the witch. I mean, they can trade it for the Amplimancer, but I'm cool with that. Then they can't make an endless string of chump blockers. Granted, the Amplimancer is pretty big, so maybe they want that. But either way, I'm taking 2 this turn, basically. So that's, a 4-turn clock, which is not that fast right now. And I can always gain a little life. My deck does that a bunch of ways. Plus, I have plenty of removal. So just see what gets drawn, I guess. This is a really tight one. I really have no idea if I'm going to win or lose. So that's 4 in the air next turn, which is not 5, but is annoying. I think they're thinking about Fractal Summoning for 0 just to get another 1/1 blocker, which is probably correct. Obviously, Forest doesn't help us. So let's say I attack with both. They chump the 5/5, and they take the Amplimancer. Then I am dead on board. So I think what I want to do now, can I Fractal Summoning? I can Fractal Summoning for a few, not very many. Pump the Amplimancer. Oh, it's still not going to be a lethal threat then, though, because if I double it once, it's going to represent 8. Oh, no. Oh, yeah, it will if I put the Regimen counter on it. Okay. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 9 mana. I can Fractal for like 1. And then, but attacking with both has a lot of value. So I think this is still probably correct. Let's see. This is really weird, but I think it's correct. The 5 threatens a pump and then gives me a valuable scry. Let me make sure this doesn't leave me dead. They only have to block 1, but I'm going to have 2 on-tapped creatures. Oh, no, I would be dead. Yeah, I can only send 1, which is half the point of this play. Because now I send just the Amplimancer, but they at least have to block it. So now I have 3 blockers for the Menace creature and a 1/1. So I'm not dead on board. The Umbral Juke doesn't change that. Oh, no, it does. It kills me. Okay, so I lose to this Umbral Juke, so maybe my play wasn't right. But, I mean, I don't have anything to do about that, I don't think. Oh, no, I can sack the Pest, and then I can take the 1 and I can double block the 3/2. So I'm actually still not dead. I have to sack the 5/5, but not the 1/1. But I'm actually not dead. And now I get the Scry, and then maybe I can find something. So I think if I'm right, in order to not be dead, I have to sack the 5/5 Pest. It's crazy. Because they have 4 in the air, so I'm at 1 effective. So that means I'd have to double block the Menace and take 1 and die from their Pest. But if I sack the Pest, now I can double block this, take 5, and go to 1. And though the game is looking bad since I spewed all my resources like this, I have outs. Like, if I draw, like, the Silver Quill thing or Bookworm, and I get to Scry, who knows? Okay, so, let's see. So, whenever you gain life, the opponent loses life. I have no ways to gain life in play. If I top that and draw it, I am dead. So that's going to get on the bottom. And then am I going to Scry upkeep? No, that'll only leave me 4 mana. I'm just going to bottom this and see what we draw. Okay, that's no help. We're dead. So we got aggroed out. They have a lot of spells, though none of them seem particularly powerful. And they just beat us with flyers, and they have a lot of removal. It's pretty good against my plan of growing my creatures. Might want to look at my late game strategy. Does Expel work against them? Medium. Expel doesn't interact well against this Witch. It would have killed the flyers that literally killed me. I think I'd rather have the blue stuff against them from what I saw, although I think it's somewhat close. Indestructible doesn't work against Flunk. Dramatic Finale could be good against them. They have a lot of removal, right? And just like grindy stuff. Every time I sack a creature, I'll get a counter. Yeah, the Finale looks really good against them. Assume that has to come in. Does that mean I just take out the blue? I could always just change 1 forest to 1 swamp and just, like, you know, cast it when I cast it. I do think the Mentor's Guidance and Burying Books are pretty good against them. Reset a Pledge Mage as it's growing. The card draw is good against a grindy deck with a lot of removal. Let's see. Defend the Campus didn't look good. I mean, they had like 1 or 2 creatures that had 4 power. Expel seems kind of situational for this matchup. Yeah, I think I want the Finale, but I think I actually still want the blue cards more. Pledge Mage isn't particularly good if, you know, the hope is you can grow it and they can just kill it anyway. So maybe I'll take out the Pledge Mages. Just bring in something a little more solid. Maybe like this card. Matches up against their flyers. Can recur like removal and stuff if this is going to be a grindy matchup potentially. And then switch a forest to a swamp and call it. Not actually sure if we got that in or not right as time was expiring. The forest to the swamp part isn't important, but I do hope the sideboarding happened. I mean, it was only 1 card. If it submits my game 1 version, it probably cost me like 0.25% or something. I think tempo and attacking can matter in this matchup. Obviously, no green, so this is a perfect hand to lose with, but, you know, I don't really mull hands like this. Like, I have a white source, I'm on the play with a black 2-drop. Hopefully we'll draw forests. Hopefully that last second switch of a forest for a swamp doesn't cost me this match. Shows you the Finale. I only made that switch because that card is 4 black or white to cast. Come on, forest. Just 1. Just 1. This hand is good if I draw a single forest. Kind of wish I'd chosen to draw first. I don't think that would have been right, but it's close, and obviously this hand, I'm already not doing things on the play because, you know, I don't have any of my forests. But I can draw Regiment or the Silver Quill thing to learn and then get environmental sciences. So, like, you can't really mull hands like this, I don't think, because I'm on, like, you know, 12, 13 sources or something. Like, any black or white learn card, any forest is a great draw. And then, like, also, you know, if I just draw black cards, that prolongs the game. So, I mean, you just have to assume you'll get there. Hopefully they don't have a counter. I don't really care if they have removal or not. I just want this to resolve so I can get environmental sciences. No! Brutal. Hopefully we'll draw a forest. Forest, emergent sequence, get the island. I didn't board that out, and then not looking too bad. Where were you before they were able to negate my regimen? All right, so let's see. They have black. This seems like a pretty easy Rise of Exodus. Of course, we're attacking. Lifelink, plus we can't block the menace creature anyway. Come on, deck. I need a forest. I'm still at 25. Just give me the forest now. Now, forest. Well, I would much rather draw a forest, but not the worst time to draw the island. Get rid of the 4/4 token. Gives us another profitable attack for 2. Still need the forest. Although, if they don't add pressure to the board, maybe I'll scry upkeep. Because I'm at plenty of life. And I just want to find a forest, and I don't need it this turn as opposed to next turn. So I'm going to scry now. Pretty much. Well, I can cast it. Wow. I was going to bottom virtually any non-forest, but that's a pretty good one. Nah, I still got to just look for the forest. Okay. Definitely not going to attack to trade with the 2 pests, especially now that I drew Poet's Quill. Poet's Quill is an excellent draw here. If they don't take that out of my hand or counter it, I'll play that, get the environmental sciences, play the sciences, get a forest, equip the Poet's Quill. Pretty glad I didn't top the thing, since they had the removal for the finale. Still don't know if we're going to lose this game now. But that's still pretty good. So now we can still Poet's Quill. Hopefully this resolves, please. They already had a random negate and Agonizing Remorse like 2 turns ago. Seriously? They drew a counter over the last turn or 2? Well, it's not a full counter, but it actually really delays me. Because I was going to go get Environmental Sciences, cast it, and then cast Emergent Sequence. Now I can't do any of that. There's no way I'm not getting Environmental Science right. Pest Summoning would help me, like, not die by more, but, I mean, this gives me 2 life and unlocks my whole hand. Hopefully it's enough. Actually, maybe I should have gotten Pest Summoning. Not for the board, but because of the Fractal Summoning. I have to play something here. Like something that can block, not an Emergent Sequence. Hopefully I didn't just punt. I mean, I would have probably lost this game anyway, to be honest. But so if I go to 9 and get the Forest, and then I putrefy the 5/5, they have 5/8, which is just barely not 9. But hey, a big lifelinker can block any number of creatures, so there's still a chance. Otherwise, I cannot produce a blocker, so the game would just be over. It's pretty rough, but I might have some draws to get back into it, because with Poet's Quill and Mage Duel, like, it's not like if they get me low, like, I can't win. Well, I think that just lethals me. Oh yeah, we're super dead. Boo! Some rough draws there. Some good games, but some rough draws. Four and one, back to the wall now. Stay classy, Sandy. I don't know who Sandy is, but you stay classy. Another perfect hand to lose with. There's no way on the draw I'm mulliganing this. We have a green 2-drop, and then we have 2 green 3-drops. Hopefully we'll just draw land. Not the ideal land, but hey, at least if we're stuck on 3 now, we have a lot to do. Assume they'll probably take my Amplimancer just because it's my only playable 2 right now. And if I draw a Swamp, then it's not one of the better cards in my hand, Amplimancer, since I can still use my mana next turn. But with no spells in hand, they can't assume these Pledge Mages are going to be too busted, even though we know that my deck is almost all spells and a decent amount of learn. Fourth Forest, not ideal. Come on, deck. Not like this. Back-to-back mana screws after the 4-0. Not like this. Okay, clearly we're looking to be defensive, to trade. I mean, you don't really want to trade with Unwilling Ingredient, but given I need to keep my life up, extend this game, hopefully draw my way out of this. Well, now that I would lose both, that's pretty rough. And I save one. I only take 1 extra damage from blocking the 3-2, so that seems pretty automatic. Snakeskin Veil, not gonna help me. I'm just dead to the Menace creature and the flyer. Back to the wall. So we're up against a black-white aggro. This is definitely a deck we could consider the Expel stuff against if we want to. See, like, some creatures to attack us. Yeah. I think the more powerful version is not necessary here. Just get in the plains. If they're a Silver Quill aggro deck, I want the Expels in against that. Obviously, we didn't see anything for Defend the Campus. Of course, if we go to this build, we bring in the Finale. That's one of the main reasons to. I'm still going to keep the lands like this. Hopefully I'm not being biased by what happened, but Finale's powerful, but they're an aggro deck, and I want to make sure I can cast my cards, and I have Emergent Sequence. So I have a green fixer, but not a black one. wish I had, like, an anti-flyer card or two. I mean, don't get me wrong. I have a lot of life gain, a lot of removal. It's not like it's some, like, inherent giant problem. It's just sweet when you can board stuff like that in. And it's best of 3, which is actually kind of a treat these days because I play mostly best of 1. And I don't have a very good sideboard. But my deck's pretty good, so hopefully that will be enough. 4, 11, 12, 16, I boarded Finale in. I boarded the Expels in. I boarded the Pledge Mages out and the blue cards out. The island is out. Everything looks right. Okay, let's get to battle. Looks good. We could certainly consider this turn 1 on the play when we are... Oh, we don't really have a 4-drop because we're only halfway to casting that. So, yeah, I'm not going to do that. If I had the mana to cast Dramatic Finale, I'd be way more inclined to play turn 1 Valentine because all we really want to do is extend the game, gain life, etc., etc. But now the power level of the cards I cast matters because we don't know that I'm going to get to cast Dramatic Finale this game. I might not. So Trudge into Lisette is kind of important. Sort of punished because now they can take it. But remember, I couldn't get Lisette either way. I would just have a Valentine out and then they would take Trudge. So it's not like great or horrible. Every forest is a really bad draw right now. But any of our, like, learn rares are excellent. You know, Emergent Sequence gives us a 2/2 and a black or white source. Think I attack. It's 4 for 2. They don't know that we don't have, like, tricks or ways to bring it back yet. And we do in our deck. So every forest is a horrendous draw. But a swamp lets us cast the Finale. And, of course, any of the learn cards removal is good. We have the Rise in 2 turns, so if we're not under a lot of pressure, then that's fortunate that we don't get punished with the slow hand. But we can Rise, and then we can go get, like, Pest Summoning or Fractal Summoning or something. So, we have some stuff to do now. And if we draw a black or white, that lets us cast Finale. Not excited about Rise of Ecstasy, a 2/2, but with them stuck on 3 lands and me having nothing else to do, I think I pretty much have to. And, like, I have a lot of removal. I don't really need to be that judicious with my removal. Okay, so we don't need environmental sciences at all. We want creatures, probably just Fractal Summoning, make them have an answer to a giant creature. Pest Summoning can give us 2, but, like... Those don't... I mean, there'll be 2/2s with the Dramatic Finale, but it's not like they leave anything behind. 2/2s aren't necessarily going to be that effective going to the late game. I mean, next turn we're making a 5/5. If we draw something else to do, we can play the Campus, and then the turn after make like a 7/7. Who knows if they can kill that or not. Okay, so... I don't think the Fractal Summoning is going to need to be bigger. So I think I'm just going to cast that. Especially now that I drew Putrefy, I can kill a big creature of theirs. I'm not saying it's going to live. Like, they're missing land drops. Their hand is all spells. Like, this is going to be a firefight. I need to not flood, but I have the Campus now, which is pretty nice. And I can get the Finale out, almost for sure. I'm not under a ton of pressure. So then every creature I play, if they kill it, I'll get a token. Obviously, I wasn't worried about getting the Finale out before the Fractal Summoning because it's already a token. So this is when non-token creatures die. Well, not happy about that. Should be an interesting choice. Both Putrefy and Finale offer a lot of potential from here. But there goes a lot of my staying power. That said, we start campusing. Hopefully we find good stuff. Okay, for now, just definitely going to attack and then play the Campus. Not like worried if they chump, they can buy it back later. I don't even know what they could have. I have Putrefy. Guess they could like finish it with a Lash or something, but definitely might upkeep Scry because this game shouldn't be ending anytime soon. Every land I draw from here is really bad, and every spell is quite good. So we'll be scrying, just trying to not draw any lands. Doesn't do anything now, but I also don't think this game is going to end anytime soon, so I think we want to draw like pretty much any spell. Especially with the Hall of Oracles, too. Can take the hit for 2, and then I'll Putrefy end a turn. Like, if they don't add to the board, I'll probably Putrefy the Leech Fanatic. Actually, maybe I won't even because of the Hall of Oracles. Another Humiliate. So that's going to make that thing a 3/3. I can Putrefy it in response. They take the duel. They get both removal this way, but now that it's a 3/3 lifelinker, I don't think I mind killing it. And they knew I had a spell, so they weren't afraid to play Humiliate, that I would Putrefy in response, because I scryed to the top. I obviously would bottom any land. That said, I have plenty of good stuff to scry up. That's not great, obviously, but it's not a land. It's a draw card. If I bottom it and I draw a land, then I just have a land. If I top this, I can play it, and then I can sack it later. And in the meantime, it gives me more to cast my stuff. It's a lot better than drawing a land. And given I'm not under any pressure and this game is going nowhere fast, it seems like that's correct to top. Now means I can scry 5 mana cards to the top and cast them immediately. Also, I can just, like I said, sack that later. Oops, that's not my scry land. Not a very good draw. Certainly not one I'm going to bottom either at this point in the game. So now we have the mana available to sack the letter. So let's do that before we remorse. Just in case we find something we'd rather play, even though it's unlikely. Got the land anyway that we tried to avoid, but what are you going to do? Okay, so the threats concern me more than removal, but Rise of Extus is also a much better card than Combat Professor or Mage Hunter moving forward. So how am I going to actually turn this game and win? I'm trying to scry up removal for their threats. Bookworm would be excellent. Probably one of my best cards. The Learn cards can get Pest Summoning. So Bookworm's bad against Rise. Pest Summoning is good against Rise, as well as my 2 Learn rares that are probably like my best draws. Combat Professor and Mage Hunter both represent about 3 a turn. But they're going to play the other one anyway. So I think Rise is probably the choice. I guess they have 5, but I have to assume they're going to draw land 6 sometime soon. Really don't know what to take here. This is not a hand I really wanted to see. All these cards are pretty effective. Wow, I really have no idea what to take. Not happy right now, looking at a bunch of great cards here. I don't know. I think Rise is the scariest, but maybe that's wrong. If they only had one other threat, I would probably not take Rise, because then they wouldn't be able to add a threat to the board. But if I take a threat, they're just adding the other one. How many lands have I scryed to the bottom? None, because I've shuffled since, probably. Because I'm deciding whether or not to scry upkeep now. And like some of my cards are somewhat expensive, or Learn and so on. Also, I have this Hall of Oracles. 5, 6, 8, 10. Still have access to 5 mana cards, which is pretty much everything but Bookworm. Rise of Exodus, but I think I already played that. Yeah, I don't think I can risk drawing a land at this point. It's about the weakest draw. It doesn't stop anything. Better to play it, of course, than not. I guess it gives me a body. Like, if they tap out for the 4-drop, then if I draw, like, the Quill or something, it's a little better. I might not be able to scry upkeep this turn. Shuts off Bookworm. So if they put me to, like, 4, Bookworm puts me to 7. Yeah, I'm not dead on board. Oh, no, I am dead on board because of Study Break. This might be pretty much game. Not certainly sure how many outs I have here. Sad 4-0, 4-2. I mean, this deck wasn't great, but it's good enough if I would have drawn a little better over these couple rounds. Do I chump now? The only reason is because I might not be able to chump later because of Study Break. So if I go to 5, next turn they're threatening like 8 plus maybe the 9th from Combat Professor. So Bookworm won't do it. If I chump now, Bookworm does keep me alive. Is Dina going to do better later? If I draw, like, Mage's Duel, I can kill, like, Pilgrim. I mean, Dina is stopping Pilgrim. I mean, I'm definitely glad I boarded into the Expel white version, because Expel just to hit these threats is all I really need. But 1 Expel next turn might not be enough. So if I take 6, I'm at 5. A ping when I cast the Expel puts me to 4. Yeah, I'm just dead. I'm not even sure if I have outs, really. Bookworm into, like, a 2-mana card, into, like, Tendrils or whatever again. I'm not sure. This might be horrible, but... Well, it can't really be horrible. But I think this pot gives me more ability to survive next turn. Like, now, if I draw Expel, I can still Expel the Mage Hunter, not be dead. If I draw Bookworm... Thanks for subscribing, Peps88. Really appreciate it. Not sure that I can win from here. What are my draws? Like, I don't really have card drawing. I mean, I have the learn. Good learn cards, but if they Study Break and tap the creatures, I'm dead. So I pretty much have to draw removal. But that situation's not going to be any different the following turn. So I'm not really sure how I get out of this. I'm just going to draw because I think Bookworm might be one of my only ways out. Oh, Swamp's not going to do it. Sad Panda here. I thought I could definitely get some cash with this deck, especially after the 4-0. But we won some close ones early. We lost some close ones late. Fun day of Magic. Obviously disappointed not cashing, but nothing I could really do, I don't think. I don't think I punted these games. There might be different sequencing that's worked out better in hindsight, but I think I played pretty well. So yeah. Thanks, everybody who tuned in. Sad Panda here. I really definitely was feeling pretty good after 4-0 with a pretty good deck. 4-2 is obviously not a bad record, but not what we were hoping for. One last look at the deck. Yeah. I think I just lost close games that I very easily could have won, but I don't think I really punted. Good stuff. Overall, good curve, good interaction, plenty of removal, good mana. Not like the world's highest power level, but I think enough. What do we get for 4 and 2? 10,000 gems? Well, we made a solid profit. I only entered twice. Hope everybody enjoyed the stream today. Thank you for hanging out with me. Who is still battling on their way, trying to win that cash. I will definitely be raiding somebody still in. I know you can't hear me to answer this for 10 minutes. So I'm talking to myself now. Let's see. Numot, and he has a lot of viewers. Assuming he's still in, I will be raiding him. Looks like he is. Okay, I'm going to raid Newmont. He's playing on Arena, so I assume he's playing day 2 here, trying to cash. Pretty disappointing 4-2, but what are you going to do? I think I played well and built well. Hope everybody enjoyed the stream today. If you want to continue on watching the Arena Open, Newmont is 4-1. So this is to get to 5 wins, the match I just played and lost at 4-1. And then if he wins it, he'll get 2 cash matches to get to 6 and 7 wins. So good luck to Newmont. Hopefully he can accomplish what I could not. Hopefully you had fun today and learned a lot. And I will see you next time.